It is a chilly night here on Montgomery Central as it is Thursday night football time, and this time as the Indians of Montgomery Central are taking on the Blue Devils of White House. Hello everybody, Patton Cook alongside my partner, Ashton Rich. Ashton, we were here last year for Montgomery Central. Not the season they wanted, but they're off to a fast start this season.
Yeah, and last year, as we spoke to their AD before our game we broadcasted last year, he let us know that they were really injured. And injuries, even just a few, can derail your season. But this year they've had a philosophy change. They're running more of a triple option system, so it kind of negates some of those negative things, maybe size differentials, talent differentials. And it's really helped them out. They've only lost one game this year, Patton.
They've really found that identity, and they're going to want to run the ball and take some time off the clock, and they're doing that this season, sitting at 7-1. Moving on for White House, you look at the record, 5-3. You think they're having a good year, but their district, they're really struggling.
Yeah, and even if they went out, they might not even make playoffs. So anytime you can go, what would that be, 7-3?
Yes.
Anytime you can go 7-3 in a season and not make playoffs, that's got to hurt, especially when all your losses are district losses.
We're going to look at two players to watch. First is going to be for Montgomery Central. It's going to be Devante Skelton.
Yeah, and Skelton, he's leading the team in rushing yards, not in attempts, but he's got 953 on the season, so we could very well see 1,000 yards rushing tonight on the season, and also 16 touchdowns, so just excellent production out of the backfield from Skelton. And his running mate, Dres Sanders, has 818 yards and 10 touchdowns, so we know where the ball's going. Yeah,
something very rare for a team. They could have two 1,000-yard rushers in high school. That's a huge accomplishment to have, and you see that in their record at 7-1. Now moving on to White House, it's going to be the quarterback, Andrew Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon, he's the leader of the team. He's a senior, obviously a big year. Not going the way he would have planned, but he's completing about 45% of his throws in the season, which isn't the best, but it's not necessarily how many he's completing or how accurate he is, but is he making the right decisions? Because with the right decisions will come the right plays, will come the right results.
Now
You're fine. As long as he's completing key third downs and completing key situations and not getting them behind the chains, they'll be fine.
Now we want to look at two keys, one for each team, and we're going to go for Montgomery Central again. It's going to be carry this momentum into the playoffs.
Right. So as we spoke, the first loss of the season was last week, oddly enough, against Springfield, who, as we said, we were here last year for. And and when you're undefeated like that, you can really sometimes one loss can kind of derail your whole season, even if it's towards the end of the year. So for them, as long as they don't let that one loss get in their heads and they remain confident, oh guys, that one loss was just an anomaly, they should be able to control the field here tonight.
Now a key over for actually White House rather, it's going to be just take it one game at a time.
Right. And as we said, they're 1-3 in the district, so just take it one game at a time. You don't look too far ahead of the future, because if you do, you're going to bum yourself out that you might not make playoffs. So it's always next week's opponent. As Bill Belichick one time said in a press conference, we're on to Cincinnati. So for White House, last week it was we're on to Montgomery Central. Next week it'll be we're on to whoever we play next week. One game at a time, remain focused.
We've got an exciting matchup here in Montgomery Central. Once again, the Indians of Montgomery Central are taking on the Blue Devils of White House. Stick with us right here on APSU-TV.
The son of Tracy Dudley and David Welshipper. Corey has been a member of the marching band for 4 years. And after graduation, Corey plans to attend Nashville State.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home Walk Restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 Wonders of the World.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
We welcome you back here to Montgomery Central High School as kickoff is getting ready to go underway. To kick for Montgomery Central, Michael Lodell. As we've got an exciting crowd here as it is senior night at Montgomery Central, and the kick is away. Fielded by number 18, Cameron Casanova. He's still on his feet. diving towards the 45-yard line. A huge return for White House and a great start where they're going to go out on the offensive end. What a great return, Ashton.
Really good protection on that return, Patton. White House did an excellent job of springing their man up the field. He did an excellent job of keeping low, breaking that one tackle, and getting a couple extra yards.
As we mentioned in the open, White House is going to want to throw the ball. They haven't had a lot of success running the ball on offense, but in terms of throwing, great success. Andrew Nixon, the senior, going to want to get a fast pace to this game and take it one game at a time.
Yeah, and like we said in the open, Patton, Nixon, he's kind of had a little bit of an accuracy issue on the season. Only about 45% of his passes. Let's see how he performs tonight.
Nixon just hands it off up the middle. Nothing going. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play, but running game has been a struggle for them this season. Looking at some of the rushing yards, you've got Preston Sharber with 423 yards rushing.
Yeah, and Sharber, like you said, just having a tough time of getting anything going on the ground, so they're going to rely on the arm of Nixon to get anything done on offense.
They hand it off once again up the middle to number 7, Will Frazier. And a good gain on that one, up about to a gain of 5 on the play, so a positive yard, third and manageable.
Yeah, you know, he had a whole off tackle to the right side, but defense did a good job of staying home and corralling him for a short gain.
White House in terms of scoring 28 points per game.
28
only
points
giving
per game.
up only 20.
Yeah, hey, 28 points per game in high school, that's pretty good. And anytime you're scoring more on average than your opponents, than you're giving up, you know, you're having a pretty successful season.
At the same sort of formation, we get a flag on the play. It's going to be false start on White House. So after that decent gain on second down, it's going to back them up to the original line of gain.
Yeah, and we've seen this throughout the year with Austin Peay, Patton. Penalties will kill you in a game. And you want to stay disciplined, and, you know, false starts are going to happen. Just don't try and lose your head and lose the game over it.
What any sort of mystery White House had going on third down in terms of running or passing, it's definitely going to be a passing down with their talented quarterback, Andrew Nixon, 817 yards on the season.
Yeah, you got to think this is either a pass, maybe a draw if you get really, like, if you don't really trust your guy yet, but you got to think this is a pass here on third and long.
In this same formation, 3 times in a row here for White House, trying to convert a crucial third down. They hand it off up the middle, not going to get the first down and bring up fourth down.
Yeah, that's a conservative play call there. You don't want to make a mistake early in the game on a pass. Just kind of get a few yards. If you break it off, good. If you don't, you're setting yourself up in decent position in midfield. Or you leave the offense on the field and decide to go for it on fourth and medium.
As you see, the offense still on the field out here for the Blue Devils. An aggressive play calling. Maybe they saw that on third down. Well, actually, they're going to have their quarterback go back to punt. So that's something to look forward as he actually goes into the shotgun. So this is a crucial look here against Montgomery Central. A high snap, and he's going to keep it. The quarterback is going to keep it, and he's not going to get the first down.
Very aggressive play call there, trying to disguise what they're trying to do with all the misdirection and all the different motion. Montgomery Central defense was not fooled. As you can see here on the replay, the punter just kind of took the snap. To me, it almost looked like it was an option, so to speak. You know, if you like what you see, take off. You know, you got it. And, he liked what he saw, but he didn't exactly get anything with it. So.
Yeah, the coaching staff, I have to think you'd like the decision there. Had a lot of room, but just couldn't get the first down. And with that said, we're going to get our first look at Montgomery Central's offense here, 1st and 10 at the 48.
Yeah, and like we said in the open, they're going to run this triple option, and they're going to run it at you all night.
They'll take 5 yards every time as we got a player jumping off sides. That was number 74, Austin Bryant.
And that's what that motion on the play does. It confuses the defense, and it can disguise what you're really doing because you never know who's going to move and who's going where.
1st and 5 after the neutral zone infraction on White House.
After the mark-off, we're
going to get the same look pretty much all game, Ashton. They're not going to go up in the shotgun. They're going to use this triple option, and they've been using it to success for much of the season.
Yeah, you don't fix what isn't broken, Patton, and if it's not broken, why try and fix it? So, I mean, as we said in the open, you got 2 rushers who could break 1,000 yards tonight. You know, just let them feed the beast, so to speak.
Ben Dawson keeps it as he has dropped down, tried to flip it out, but the White House defense all over him on that first down.
This White House defense so far has been playing, other than the first play where they've jumped off sides, on the second play they've played this very well. You know, they've stayed home and they've kind of just went with it. You know, just key on your man, get your assignment, and everything will go right for you.
Ben Dawson is going to be the quote-unquote quarterback, I guess you would call it.
The handoff.
We won't see too many throws from him tonight, but he's leading that charge, and he's done a very good job at that role. 5 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I believe if we saw correctly in the stats on the season, he's had 25 passing attempts and 9 completions. So not the best throwing the ball, like we said, but as long as he's getting the job done, I don't think Montgomery Central's coaching staff will have much issue with it.
Another conservative second down play call. That'll bring up 3rd down and short. We'll see if they hand it off to the big guy up front, see if he can't get this 1st down. Looks like 3rd down and 2 on the play.
Yeah, and to me here, you've got to hand it off to Dres Sanders. I mean, he is a load at 5'10", 220, so absolutely huge size for a high school back.
Dawson taking a look at the line, seeing what he likes on this one. Fakes it off to Sanders. He hands it off to the tailback, and he's got him.
Excellent defense there from Whitehouse. Staying home, not being fooled by the misdirection of Dres Sanders up the middle, which was the obvious play call, and keeping their eye on the ball, as you can see from this replay. And he's just absolutely swallowed as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage.
Devante Skelton, the ball carrier on that one. It's going to be 2 hosts of running backs, Skelton and also number 33 for them, Sanders. That's going to be the 2 main guys, and another 4th down. Two teams going for it on 4th down early.
I like this play call from Montgomery Central. Match the aggression early and trust that your guys are going to come out on top.
Dawson tosses it out to Skelton. He's got the 1st down. A great play calling and a great run from Skelton.
Not really anything fancy there, Pat. Just a simple toss play. Let your guy get the edge and get those easy yards. Excellent design by Montgomery Central, as you can see here on your TV screen. Just faster than the other guy. He wasn't touched until he had already gotten the 1st down. So excellent design, excellent scheming there from Montgomery Central.
At the Blue Devil 36-yard line.
It's hard for that defense to get used to a fast player like Skelton and also just a power back in Sanders.
Yeah,
that's
and
what this Montgomery Central team is.
Yeah, and when you're being pounded play after play by a big guy like Dres Sanders.
Here, Sanders bowling over defenders, juked out. A couple White House defenders. Another great run from Skelton.
And he showed us the speed a little bit earlier, showing us more of the balance, a little bit more finesse on that one. Breaking through a couple shoestring tackles and making his way to the 1st down.
So now for a 1st down for Montgomery Central, starting to drive here.
They're gaining momentum, Pat, and that's what the triple option's all about. Gain momentum, get the defense second-guessing themselves, because if you second-guess for a half second, then you're already dead on the play.
This drive started after the failed 4th down conversion for White House. Dawson tosses it out to Skelton. Trying to break away, gets tackled at the 15-yard line by number 7 for White House. That's Will Frazier.
So far, Ben Dawson is doing an excellent job reading the White House defense. If they come to him, he's pitching. If they come to him, he's just handing it off. He's doing an excellent job so far, making the right reads and making the right decisions on offense.
Speaking of Sanders, he only has 9 completions on the year, but the way this offense is looking thus far, you can see why they haven't bothered throwing the ball much this season.
And the older crowd will love that, right? Why throw the ball if you can just run it down their throats all game?
Dawson hands it off to Skelton again, getting out the initial line of scrimmage, and knocks out at the 5-yard line. Another good run and another 1st down for Montgomery Central.
Skelton's feeling it early. That's 20 or 30 yards already, and he's going to be, at this rate, he'll be over that 1,000-yard mark before the end of the 1st quarter, Patton.
Big-time wide receiver A.J. Parker coming in for Montgomery Central. One of the few receivers who they go to, and when they do, it's usually touchdowns in situations like these in the red zone.
Yeah, and he's a really big guy at 6'3", 180. Absolutely huge size for a receiver in high school. Looks like he's lining up in the slot, though. Probably some good scheming coming here.
That's just good old power football. Touchdown, Montgomery Central.
Or like you said, power football into the end zone. Why throw it to the big guy when you can run it with the big guy? Am I right? This massive hole opens up. Montgomery Central's offensive line doing an excellent job of creating the hole for the running back, and he just runs home.
Give credit to that offensive line up front for Montgomery Central. Could have drove a truck through that. That's 6-0. After that great run.
I tell you, Dres Sanders looks about he could be an offensive line. It says 220. It says 220 on our roster, but
that's
he's a big boy, that is for sure.
The kick is up and good.
Big man, excuse me, he's almost as big as me.
So that extra point, 7-0 is your score as Montgomery Central strikes first here in Clarksville. 7-0 your score. We'll see you here on APSU-TV.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
7-0 your score here on the campus of Montgomery Central, as White House is going to get a chance to respond. And on offense, they were pretty aggressive, but Ashton, you said you liked the play call, but just couldn't execute it.
Yeah, and anytime you want to set the tone early, you know, you want to come in here, Montgomery Central, it's senior night, everyone's hyped up for a big game. They're 7-1, they're making playoffs more than likely, and you want to set the tone early and dominate early, and just didn't execute, which in turn gave Montgomery Central the momentum.
Cameron Casanova once again is going to get the return at an impressive return last time out. Gets tackled at the 30-yard line. Not as good, but still good field position for this White House offense.
Yeah, and anytime you can get the ball at about your own 30-yard line on a kickoff, you're doing fine. You're doing something good in a return game. So you're not going to return everyone for a touchdown, but as long as you can get good field position and win the field position battle, you're more than likely going to continue that process.
6:08 remaining in this first quarter. A lot of running from both teams. Not a pass thrown so far between the two teams thus far.
That's a little surprising to me, Patton. I would have thought that White House would have thrown a pass by now.
They hand it off to the tailback once again. Gain of 1 or 2 on the play, but they're very consistent on this run game.
And Patton, he tried to cut that one back, but it looked like he had more of a lane to the outside. Maybe he didn't trust his vision, or I'm not sure what he saw there. But from here, it definitely looked like the play was to be made bouncing that outside rather than trying to cut that back.
That was their lead rusher, Preston Sharber, 423 rushing yards on the season. He's been their lead guy, doesn't kill you numbers off the look, but a decent running back, and thus far a slow start for him.
Yeah, numbers can be deceiving. You don't ever want to scout by a box score, and you always want to get a feel for what they're actually doing before you use your own eyes.
First pass of the day, completed to Casanova. Trips over at the 50-yard line, so the first time we see Andrew Nixon throw the ball, enough for a first down.
And what did we say in the open, Patton? Be efficient, complete the easy passes. This one right here, Cameron Casanova is just going to run a simple out route. And Nixon made a great throw and broke a tackle, first down.
Coverage wasn't that bad. It was just a great throw from Nixon as the ball spotted at the 50-yard line.
A good throw will always beat good coverage.
First and 10 at the 50 for this White House offense, looking to get some momentum and looking to respond. Hand it off to Sharber once again, still on his feet. And his offensive line's going to push him to that first down marker, and he's going to get it.
That is a big-time run there from Preston Sharber. Excellent job cutting that back and then coming back to where he was to avoid some tacklers and staying strong and getting a couple extra yards with the help of his linemen.
You see that more and more in today's football when the offensive linemen like to show their will and push across the first down. Impressive display so far on this drive.
Well, you know those big guys up front, Patton, don't exactly get the limelight a lot, so anytime they can get on camera, they love it.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line for White House. They hand it off to Sharber once again. Diving forward to that, looks like the 36-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play.
You know, we said in the open and throughout the game so far, White House's run game this year hasn't been that great. But, I mean, Preston Sharber's averaging almost 6.5 yards a carry this year. So, I mean, he's definitely efficient. I just don't know that he has been getting enough carry, so to speak. Only 66 on the season, which you have another running back on here, number 7, Will Frazier for White House, who has 1 less carry and has 150 less yards.
Yeah, this is something that White House does not do a lot, and right now they're maybe trying to throw Montgomery Central off a little bit and stay patient on this run game. As Nixon fakes the handoff, trying to do it himself, and he's going to get tackled at the line of scrimmage by a host of Indians.
Yeah, and that's just a naked bootleg there. The quarterback, all it is a fake handoff, and instead of there being a pass, he just takes off. And there really wasn't much home for White House there. Got a couple yards, not exactly the best gain, however.
No gain on the play.
Contain was very good there from the Indians. Very easy to get sucked in on the handoff, but the big guys up front stayed true to their coverage.
And both defenses right now doing an excellent job of being keyed in and focused on their assignment on defense and knowing where their guy is and who they're to defend.
3rd and 6 on this play. And by judging last drive, it's 4-down territory. Handed off to the tailback, and he's tackled up by a shoestring, Jaden Flake. We'll see what White House wants to do here.
Speaking of a shoestring, it looks like he lost his at the end of that play. He's going to have to come off the field. But yeah, that's a decent gain on 3rd and short, especially if you, or 3rd and medium, sorry. If you know you're going to go for on 4th down, that's an acceptable gain on 3rd, because this puts it in a situation where your entire playbook is open. Montgomery Central has no idea what might be coming right now. Could be a run, could be a pass, could be play action. You don't really know. So your entire playbook is open. The defense is on its heels.
Will Frazier was the ball carrier on that one, 380 yards on the season. He's their RB2 in this offense, and it's going to be 4-down territory again.
Looks like Nixon may be trying to get Montgomery Central to drop off sides.
Hand it off to the running back, and he's going nowhere. He's dropped by Jaden Flake again. 2 straight tackles for the young man up front.
Excellent defense there from Montgomery Central. Really just team defense. No one got fooled. Everyone knew where the ball was going. Excellent. There's 4 guys there.
Someone missed their assignment on Jaden Flake.
Do we give up credit for 4th tackles, or does it still just have tackles?
After what looked like a strong and successful drive, ends in another 4th down failed conversion. Montgomery Central looking to capitalize once more.
Yeah, and if you're Montgomery Central, if you're a Montgomery Central fan, you have to think that this is where you take the game over. You go down here, you get 7 more points, and you start playing your game.
Toss it off to Skelton. He's got a lot of room and not a lot of guys looking to tackle him. Across the 20-yard line, gets tackled at the 10-yard line. A huge run on 1st down.
And I believe that should put him over 1,000 yards on the season, because that was at least a 40 or 50-yard gain. Skelton doing an excellent job here. He's just a pitch, and his offensive line just breaks it wide open for him. And once he's past the linebackers, no one's catching him except for a DB that has a good angle. And as you can see up here, the DB, excellent angle coming in, gang tackled.
That's 2 or 3 times tonight. Montgomery Central's front line is really blocked well.
They're really imposing their will right now, Patton, to use the old cliche, and White House is going to have to get big on defense here to stop from this getting ugly early.
Montgomery Central giving the same look White House was in the previous offenses. They hand it off to Skelton again, cutting in, looking for the end zone. Got it. Touchdown Indians.
And I believe on the old NCAA football games, that would have been called the Maryland Eye. Instead of having 1 fullback, you have 2. It's just a deeper backfield. More lead blockers, more yards.
Great run from Skelton. They just rode him all the way. It only took 2 plays to go 60 yards. That's a perfect drive.
Yeah, and Skelton right now just kind of taking over the game, so to speak. I know it's just the first quarter, but you got to think if you're Montgomery Central, you don't really want to ride any other hand except for Drez and Skelton.
After another 4th down failed conversion, it is 14-0 here at Montgomery Central as it is senior night. Stick with us here on APSU-TV.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
14-0 is your score. 1.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter, and it's been all Montgomery Central. And we got to give to the credit to the guys up front, Ashton.
Yeah, really. I mean, that last drive, it was not much of a recap to be had. It was 2 plays. It was Drez Skelton to the end zone. And did I say Drez Skelton? I meant Skelton to the end zone, sorry. Just 1 rush for 50 yards, and then the next one for 5 or 6. If you're White House's defense, you got to look at that and say, man, well, we got to do better.
The kick is away to White House. Collected at the 10-yard line. Looking for a runner, and he's got a lot of room here. Tyler Whitmore faking out defenders. Still on his feet. What is he doing? Finally tackled at the 24-yard line. A lot of effort just for a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, really. Flashes of Kyler Murray earlier in the college football season this year where he ran about 80 yards to get 10. But honestly, more good field position to work with here, about the 30-yard line. I mean, really, anytime you're starting there, as I said earlier, you're doing something right on special teams.
Yeah, field position has not been a problem for White House thus far. It's just been sustaining drives and converting. They've been trying to go for the fourth down conversion.
Right.
Have not got it yet.
Right, and this is our 5th drive of the night, and it's already almost the end of the first quarter, so time really going to be a factor early here on. You don't want to fall 3 touchdowns to a team that runs that triple option. It's really tough to come back from.
Will Frazier is the tailback for White House. Looking to pass and dropped is Casanova. A great throw from Andrew Nixon, just off the hands here on a chilly night.
Good play call, good design. The receiver couldn't quite handle that one, but I like the idea of faking the screen and having the guy come over the middle on a slant. It's a really good design. You're going to fool your defense into go over pursuing the screen and leaving the middle open.
One of the few weeks that we've had cold games, I guess you would say, here in Middle Tennessee, so something the players got to adjust to as anyone else would. Struggling thus far as the receivers.
Yeah, and anytime that it gets colder, that ball gets harder and it hits your hands harder. So it's a lot harder to catch, especially if you're not wearing gloves. And it's just, battling the elements as well as the other team.
2nd and 10 after that incompletion. Back to passes. Nixon once again looking for a man, and he's just going to take it himself. Across the 30-yard line and out of bounds.
Excellent job from Nixon, feeling the pressure on the backside and flushing himself from the pocket and getting those easy yards. Play may not have drawn up like that, but you'll take 6 or 7 yards on 2nd and 10.
It's going to be 3rd down, and it looks like 2 on the play, so a successful carry from Nixon. A crucial 3rd down here because Montgomery's shown you they're going to take it down and score.
Right,
so
yeah.
They need to sustain this drive.
If you're White House here, you have to think we have to get this 3rd down, and if we don't, we have to get a monster punt, because if you don't, you're looking at 4th and short on your side of the field, and that is not a good spot to be in right now.
Frazier on the carry. Stop for the Indians by number 38.
That initial referee looked like they were going to give him the spot. But it does not look like it. It's going to be 4th down.
I can't imagine that you go for this here on your own side of the field already down 2 touchdowns. I would think if you're White House, you have to punt this ball and hope that your defense comes up big or that Montgomery Central makes a mistake.
We've seen already Andrew Nixon is comfortable being back in the backfield and punting away, and that does look like what they're doing here, surely.
Well, there are several teams, their quarterbacks also double as punters. Austin Peay is one.
Wow, it's offsides on Montgomery Central, enough for a 1st down.
That is a tough mental break there for the Indians. If you're in that situation, you cannot jump off sides or even line up off sides. It's free yardage and it's free 1st down. And things like that can really tip the momentum in your favor if you're the one on the receiving end of that.
I don't know how they seem to be off sides. It wasn't look like they tried to do a hard count or anything. Just had a man lined up offside.
Sometimes you get jumpy out there, especially when you're in a big game like this. Big game environment, your juices are flowing, your adrenaline's up. Sometimes you just get jumpy.
Just over 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. It's going to be the final play of the half, or the first quarter rather. Still on his feet, it's the tailback, Will Frazier, and he's got enough for a 1st down.
Frazier showing why he splits the carries with Shearer. Excellent job, staying strong, staying balanced through the hole, and getting that 1st down.
14-0 your score. We're going to take a break at the end of the first quarter here on APSU-TV.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home Walk Restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
We welcome you back here. Not in Clarksville, Tennessee, as I thought it was. Cunningham, Tennessee, here on Montgomery Central's campus. 14-0 is your score. And what looked like a bleak drive there for White House gets bailed out by a penalty.
Yeah, and as you said it, penalties. You get the team into a 4th and short, they look like they're going to punt it, and then you kind of just line up off sides. Horrendous mental breakdown there if you're the Indians, but the bright side is you're still up 2 scores, they're still on their side of the field more or less, and you still have control of this game. Just don't let it get out of your hands. Just DWWD, do what we do if you're the Montgomery Central Indians.
You come up there with yourself?
I did not actually. I think that was there was an old sports, not old, but it was coming out in like 2010. It was a sports like a 30 for 30 on ESPN.
I was going to give you the credit.
I think it was who was the Auburn's head coach before Gus Malzahn?
Oh, not a chance.
Or it may have been Gus Malzahn. It was Auburn's head coach the year they had Cam Newton.
Yeah, that was Gus. It
was Gus.
Year.
Okay, well, it was. They were talking about the Iron Bowl against Alabama that year, and Gus said, we were down a bunch of points, and I told the team, look, guys, we just got to go out there and DWWD, do what we do. And I like the saying, so I just kind of stuck with it.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line here for White House. Kept with this same look. They're looking to run the ball as they've done all night, just to soften up this O-line and maybe pass on the later downs.
Very much contrasting styles here from Montgomery Central to White House. As we pointed out earlier, Montgomery Central, they're very old school, so to speak. Triple option, big running backs, run it down the middle of the field. White House, a little bit more modern, a little bit more professional. They're going to come out and they're going to give you some I formation looks, some shotgun looks possibly. I think it's called the full house. It was coach of the 49ers in the 80s and 90s. Bill Walsh was the one who I think innovated that. Just a very professional look here from White House.
Hit it off to Will Frazier again, and he's dropped at the line of scrimmage. Might have got one on the play.
Yeah, and I believe the execution on that one betrayed the actual look, so to speak, of it. Because from up here, it looked like he might break that one off, and then the D tackle just kind of fished his way through the block and managed to bring Frazier down.
You had a couple linemen for White House up at the second level, and whenever that can happen, you got a chance to break one. Just couldn't get off the initial line of scrimmage. 3rd and 8.
Absolutely, and like you said, anytime those big guys like to get up to the second level and hit a little guy, they take full enjoyment of it.
Going out to pass is White House, firing, incomplete. Right at the first down marker. I don't think he would have got it anyway, but another drop from a White House wide receiver.
Yeah, and if you're Andrew Nixon, you can't really blame your receiver there. You just kind of got to keep your head up. But on his part, excellent job, excellent mechanics on that throw, getting his body around, getting his hips turned, and making a good, accurate throw.
See what look they give Montgomery Central here. As a first initial look, it is going to be a punt, but once again, the quarterback going into the shotgun.
And that may be a thing that they try, sort of like Austin Peay does, where they do a little pooch kick.
Here it is, but it is not going more than 15 yards. That goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Less than ideal.
And Will Frazier getting up off the ground at the end of that one. I'm not sure if he was hit late. I wasn't exactly paying attention, but I was looking more at the ball. But, you got to be careful about stuff like that, because especially, maybe not at the high school level, but they're starting to put an emphasis nowadays on protecting the quarterback. And maybe even though
especially
in that situation,
the punter.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe in that situation he's not technically a quarterback, but you don't want to arrive late and try and block it and run into the guy and give him another free first down on the drive.
One thing that might have not have helped Nixon much at all, he was not far off the line of scrimmage, so if a man does go free, not a lot of space to get the kick away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, Pat. And he may have been like 10 yards deep if he was that deep.
Whistles are blown. It's going to be a false start on Montgomery Central.
And White House kind of getting bailed out on that one. It looks like they had one or two guys kind of getting on the field late on that one. Mental error on White House, snuffed out by mental error on Montgomery Central's part.
Montgomery Central would have saw it. They had a wide receiver not even covered. It was A.J. was actually number 9 for them.
A.J. Parker.
Yeah, A.J. Parker, and he was wide open, but Montgomery Central didn't see it.
If there's one guy on Montgomery Central's team you don't want to leave open, I imagine it's that guy. 6'3", 180, that is a very large man.
1st and 5 after that false start. They toss it to Skelton. He's got some space to work with. He gets out to the initial line of scrimmage as a flag is thrown.
Devante Skelton.
I thought there might have been a hold on that side, on the wide receiver on that side of the field, looked to me. Other than that, Skelton doing an excellent job of just getting a good vision and good read of the field on every run he's had tonight so far. I don't think he's had a run on less than 5 yards.
Usually you see it is going to be holding on Montgomery Central, so back them up some more after 2 straight penalties for them. But usually when you see a running back like that who's really fast and wants to get out to space, he just instantly bounces out to the outside, but this is a guy who can run through the tackles.
Right, and it's all about being patient and understanding where your hole is going to open up. Like you said, fast guys, they like to bounce it outside and they like to just try and run past everybody, but you can't do that every time.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to take what the defense gives you and not make the killer play every time.
Hand it off to a wide receiver, and he's gone up the middle with a lot of room to work. Montgomery Central, as he gets tackled at the 20-yard line. What a huge run from Jacob Keys.
I thought Keys was going to be gone on that one when he got past the second level. That's just a simple sweep. They faked the toss action around, come back with the sweep, and there was nobody home for White House. The misdirection finally starting to take effect, and like I said to you, I thought he was going to be gone. Just not quite enough gas in the tank, but still an excellent gain if you're Montgomery Central.
I'm not so sure the lineman up front saw him. He was so small, and he just kind of sneaked out from a hole, and there he was for a huge gain out to the 20-yard line.
And that's why you see running backs in the NFL like Devante Freeman, who are only 5'8", and they're a foot shorter than their linemen. You can't find them until they're already past you.
They hand it off to Skelton, looking for something. The ball is out. And it looks like Montgomery Central does have it, but a huge break that could have been for White House.
Get away with one there if you're Montgomery Central. In a game like this where you're already up 2 scores, you cannot put the ball on the ground like that.
Especially when you're driving in your red zone. That could be a huge drive killer and a huge momentum shift, but White House couldn't dive on it quick enough.
And you said it, Patton. Football is a game of momentum, ultimately a game of momentum. And anytime momentum can swing like that, you know, we've seen numerous times in professional and collegiate football, things can happen.
I hand it off to Sanders. And he's bowling his way to the 5-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down and a fresh set of downs.
That is Drez Sanders, just 220 pounds of absolute man coming through the middle of the hole. That's going to be his play all night long, Patton. Whenever he does get the ball, it's going to be up the middle just like that, because he is the fullback in this triple option attack.
Yeah, that 220 looks pretty conservative up here from the booth.
I'd give him 240. He is a huge individual.
Sanders in the backfield with Dawson. Toss it off to another tailback, and he gets tackled. That was Jaden Flake.
I wouldn't exactly call that a tackle. That was more of a wallop. If anything, he took an absolute shot at the end of that play. White House, did an excellent job of flowing to the toss on that one, keeping it for a short gain.
It's going to be 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. And you can go anywhere with this. Can't go wrong with either of the tailbacks. You'd have to look at Sanders on this one.
Yeah, Sanders, Skelton, either one, really. I mean, Skelton's not a small guy himself.
Hand it off to Skelton, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown Indians.
That's just too easy. That is just too easy if you're Montgomery Central. I mean, that's just left side off tackle or inside the tackle. I mean, that's one of the most basic plays you have in football, and just absolutely owning your guy on the other side of you.
Here to kick the extra point, Michael Lobdell for Montgomery Central. Getting a lot of work early for him. 8.5 minutes left in the first half.
At this point in the game, Patton, if you're White House, you've got to kind of go back and look and be like, all right, what are we doing well, what are we doing not so well? Let's focus on the things we're doing well and try and play off that. Which right now, the things you're doing well, your scheming so far has been excellent, and you're not losing by you can come back from this. You just have to be more disciplined.
21-0 is your score here on APSU-TV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Montgomery Central continuing its dominance thus far in the first half. 21-0 is your score. And White House has had its spots. They just cannot convert those crucial 3rd and 4th downs.
Yeah, they've had their opportunities, but as we saw in their first 2 drives, going for it on 4th down and not quite getting it, you know, it's a big success. It's a big risk to take. If it comes off, you get a lot of momentum, and you are, primed to go with it somewhere. But if it doesn't,
Newfield, the returner, spun away, and he slips up on the play. To be spotted at the 33, 34-yard line, and we got a little scuffle breaking out, a couple flags thrown.
Yeah, it looked like one of Montgomery Central's players kind of dove on a White House guy a little late there on the play. I can't imagine this is on anybody but Montgomery Central.
See what the referee has got to tell us, but multiple referee hats on the ground as a player stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, there's a 1 flag and 2 hats, and I believe another flag. So 2 flags
out on the field here.
This is. You never want to see a high school game go to something like this, but it can happen. Football's a very emotional game. You never want to see one of your guys take what you think is a dirty hit, and you've always got guys that you want in your foxhole, so to speak, is the old cliche. But you're always going to have those guys on the football team that are always going to have your back, and sometimes it leads to situations like this.
Even though this isn't a city rival necessarily, this is a district matchup right here, and White House needs to win this game if they want any shot of making the playoffs. As we mentioned in the open, even if they went out, there's a scenario where they don't make it in. So they need to come out of this one with a W, and it's not looking good thus far. 21-0 is your score, as the referees still looking to qualify what exactly happened and any fouls assessed.
To me, if they're taking this long, they may be talking about disqualifying a player. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion just because I'm not sure, but typically if you're taking this long on something like that, you would think that's the case. Because surely there's not exactly 4 fouls and you're going to call all of them. Typically, if there's one on each team, it's offsetting and they're just going to, it didn't happen. So if they're talking about it this long, it seems to me like they're going to disqualify a player.
But a big drive nonetheless here for White House. Montgomery Central will receive the ball to start the second half, so they need to start to get some points on the board before halftime, or else this one could get out of hand and we could have a running clock by the third quarter.
Yeah, if you're White House, you've got to go get points on this drive. Field goal doesn't really help you here, but you don't want to exactly want to not take it if it's there. But ideally, you get 7 on this drive.
Against Montgomery Central.
First foul is going to be personal foul on Montgomery Central.
Personal foul.
The second one's going to be a personal foul against White House.
And that is going to be an ejection.
White House has got ejected. So where we thought it might have been a Montgomery Central player, as we take a look at the replay, I did not see it personally. I was looking at the receiver.
I saw the White House player kind of get thrown to the ground, or maybe he was throwing a Montgomery Central player to the ground. But as far as something ruling a disqualification, I did not see, so to speak. I think it was right here to the right off your screen.
You saw it there off camera.
Off camera,
straight away. Yeah, that was definitely going to be an ejection, especially in today's game. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you'd be applauded for such, but
yeah,
no chance in today's game.
Yeah, and that's just part of what they're doing, trying to make the game safer. There's just no place for that in today's game, like we said, Patton. And it's just if you're Montgomery, or if you're White House rather, that's just kind of a tough one to stomach the way this game's got started.
We'll see how that ejection kind of pans out this half. If we get any more chippiness, you'd have to think there will be, unfortunately, but here we are. Hand off to Logan Newfield, tackled at the 37-yard line. We got more play after the whistle.
Yeah, a lot of chippiness going on right here, Patton. Both teams, like we said, very passionate, very emotional game. Neither team wants to lose this game. Montgomery Central, it's their senior night. White House, you're fighting for your life on the season, so to speak. And as it does appear, we do have an injured Blue Devil on the field.
Logan Newfield was the ball carrier and is the one coming up injured. You kind of see that when there's chippiness, you're going to have injuries, and unfortunately, he's immediately after an ejection. Wasn't anything dirty necessarily about the play, it was just a hard physical play.
Yeah, and sometimes you never know when you get gang tackled as he was on that play. Sometimes people can roll up on the back of your legs, and it can cause you to hurt your ankle, your knee, anything like that, just from the sheer weight and force coming down on your lower body. But they've got him sitting up, so he's more than likely not seriously injured, as it appears. I imagine in the huddles right now, if you're Montgomery Central, you're telling your guys, hey, look, they're getting chippy because they're mad that you're beating them so bad, guys.
No point
like,
in just getting in on it.
Just stay calm, stay yourself. You're owning this game right now, and if you're White House, you're telling your guys, look, we can come back from this. We've got the offense and the firepower to come back from this. Just go out there and believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, and go out there and just play to play. Play to play. Last play didn't happen. All that matters is this play.
We're going to get a good look on how Montgomery Central is going to be able to handle some teams that are going to want to get under their skin, as anytime you're going to have a game that tends to be a blowout, the other team's going to want to be chippy. But if you're Montgomery Central, this is a test not only for this game, but further on into the playoffs to grind out games here possibly.
Right, and they don't get any easier. I mean, bad teams don't make the playoffs. I mean, really and truthfully, good teams don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
with White House here, you see that with them.
Exactly. Great. The teams that make the playoffs are the great teams. So if you're Montgomery Central, you got to understand that week to week you're going to be playing better and better competition. You have to play to their standard.
2nd down and 7 on the play after that first down play. Empty backfield here for Andrew Nixon. They toss it off to Skylar Holcomb. He's going to get the first down and tackled at the 47-yard line. A good tackle, but another good run and another first down for White House.
White House may have found something here that they can work with, and it's the sweep. And see, if you've got a sweep like this, you notice they shifted the running back out wide on this, leaving the backfield empty, so that's going to spread the defense out. Naturally, you would think a sweep wouldn't be the best move for this, but Montgomery Central just loses contain, I guess. Good block on the back side, or on the play side there, sorry, from number 18 for White House, and just broke his man loose.
They found a matchup. Maybe they think they're faster on the outside, and enough for a first down. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line for White House. Nixon, he's going to fake the throw. He's going to got him all to himself. Diving out at the 37-yard line. A great play design and perfectly executed by Nixon.
And he had nothing but just green grass ahead of him as soon as he took off to run. I mean, as you can see, there's not another Montgomery Central player in the screen that wasn't already behind him when he passed the line of scrimmage. So, excellent job there from Nixon. If that wasn't the play call, good job reading the defense and understanding I have this lane. But if that was the play call, excellent design by White House.
Usually when you got a mobile quarterback like Nixon, you'd want to spy, but Montgomery Central was in man all the way, and they just took their eyes off the QB. And they got a first down for White House, driving here, needing points here at the end of the first half. Nixon's going to keep it and just toss it out to his wide receiver. That's Holcomb. He's not going to get anything.
And that's the same motion we saw from 2 plays ago on that big sweep they just had, Pat. The running back motions out to be the wide receiver on the left. Your wide receiver on the left comes in to be a split off the line tight end, and you just fake the sweep on that one. Snap was a little high, which may have thrown the timing of the play off, but you came off with a short gain, maybe like a couple inches. So not the worst of plays, but not exactly what you would hope for in that situation.
It almost looked like they were trying to hand it off to Holcomb, and with that snap, they just didn't have the time, so they just threw it out to Holcomb and see what he could do. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. Empty backfield once again for White House. Nixon's going to keep it himself, and he's going to get dropped in the backfield. Tackled by number 6, Jacob Key.
Excellent job there from Jacob Key, just understanding what's going on in the play. You see your man motioning across the line, so just go with him, and it turned into a tackle for him.
No gain.
No gain on the play. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10. Are they going to be aggressive here once again if they don't get the 3rd down conversion and go for it?
At this point in the game, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yep.
Just from the way the score is and where you're at in the field, you've got 6 minutes and some change before the half. I imagine this is 4-down territory. On this play, I would try and get 6-7 yards. Ideally, I mean, first down if you can get it, but I wouldn't shy away from 6 or 7 yards.
Frazier goes back out to the outside receiver. We do got a timeout for White House. Their first of the half.
Football fans, don't forget souvenir programs.
21-0 is your score, and this is exactly how Montgomery Central would like this game to go thus far. But at this point, they're wanting a shutout to go into the first half.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Montgomery Central, you can't really be upset with how this game has gone for you so far. All 3 or 4 drives, you've touched the ball, you've scored. I mean, you've really just it's been Skelton every time. So I mean, you've really done a good job of playing your game, playing your style of football, and really imposing your will upon the other team. If you're White House, you gotta kind of like get something going. Maybe you want to get Nixon going. Maybe you get a couple easy short passes to get some rhythm going, get his confidence back up, and really just find anything that works. Because other than a play here, a play there, they really haven't had anything consistent on offense all night.
They've had open looks whenever they've gone to the passing game, but they've been reluctant tonight for some reason. They've had a couple drops in the wide receiving core, but other than that, they haven't really gone out after this Montgomery Central secondary.
Yeah, and those drops, you could attribute that to the weather. You could attribute that to, just unlucky. You could attribute that to anything. But the bottom line is you got to execute, and you have to score points to win a game of football. That's the bottom line. If you don't score points, you're not going to win.
Nixon motions his wide receiver. They're going to go back to pass, and he's going to keep it himself, looking for a first down. He just runs right into his offensive lineman.
And Nixon, once again, on that QB draw, if that's what was called, had a little chippiness at the end of the play there. Nixon kind of getting up like, whoa, why am I getting shoved over here? But
Zachary Gibbons went ahead and pushed the quarterback. This game's starting to get chippy, and we're not even at halftime just yet. But
yeah, you gotta think if you're either team. So we have a official's timeout, I guess, right?
Yeah, the clock was not running, so after that sack, the clock should be running. Gotta love technology in today's game, and this isn't the NFL where they can go to review and see how much time should be on the clock, but we'll see what they decide.
At this point, if you're Montgomery Central, you'll say, you can just go ahead and put it at 0 if you want to. And if you're White House, like, go ahead and put another minute or two up there, maybe.
For White House, we should really talk about their offense. And as you mentioned, not a lot working for them whenever they've passed it. They've had some drops, but how aggressive are you going to be here on fourth down? Are they going to try to pooch it again after that ugly pooch by Nixon last time out?
I mean, I imagine you've got to be aggressive. There's 6 minutes on the clock. You're at the 35-yard line, so if you do punt, it's going to have to be a short one. You're kind of in no man's land here, especially if you don't exactly have the best kicker in the world, which I didn't really see either kicker in warm-ups what their range was.
20, yeah.
But I imagine this is going to be a pass for White House. I don't really see anything else coming here, but no help over the middle if you're Montgomery Central, it looks like, in the formation. Looks like they're bringing some heat.
A high snap, and they're just going to go a quick screen out. It's going to be a pass. The man is not really open, but he caught it. Oh, no. Are they going to say he caught it?
I think they're giving it to him, Patton.
They're giving it to him. What a catch from the tight end. Number 84, Curtis Palmer. Looked like he had no chance.
Well, when no conventionals go right, go to the chalk, go to the backyard, something, anything to get work.
What a catch.
Absolutely incredible catch. I didn't think he came down with it. The Montgomery Central player wasn't in bad position either. It was just a good catch.
Right there, he didn't turn his head, and the tight end just went up and got it. A huge catch for him, and in the red zone for the first time tonight is White House.
And plays like that can be a big boost to your offense. Even if you haven't had the best night so far, stuff like that can be a huge energizer for your offensive unit.
First and goal at the 8-yard line. They're going to hand it off to Frazier. He gets tackled at the 2-yard line.
Frazier on the carry.
White House doing exactly like we said they should do here. They're looking to score points, but you got to think, are they going to leave too much time on the clock for Montgomery Central to go get some points of their own?
It'll be second and goal for the Blue Devils.
Second and goal at the 2. And you can go anywhere here on second down. You can go play action, hand it off to Frazier or the lead back, Preston Sharber.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 8 yards to the end zone, and as you said, everything's open.
They hand it off to Frazier, and he's got it. Touchdown, White House.
Excellent job there from White House on that drive. You get some good fortune with the trick play. 2 plays later, you score. Like we said, big momentum boost. Momentum, football is a game of momentum. Frazier, excellent run, found his hole, pay dirt.
Can't say enough about the catch from Curtis Palmer that ultimately could switch this game on its head.
Yeah, and if you're Montgomery Central right now, if you're their coaching staff, you're telling your guys, look, don't let that one play define you in this. You know, it's one play. You're going to give up points. It's football. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're winning by 2 touchdowns currently.
Some confusion on the line here. See if they've had trickery all throughout, special teams or not.
Looks like they were maybe lining up for a swinging gate.
As we got a late blocker to come out on the field. Jacob Harper, the kicker. And he got it. So White House finally gets on the board. 21-7 is your score with 4:18 remaining. We've got a bit of a game here going into the second half here on APSU-TV. (21-7) your score here in the campus of Montgomery Central. The school on water, oddly enough. You don't see it that often. My high school got flooded, but wasn't on purpose that there was water at the high school.
I don't know that I've ever seen a high school that literally has a lake right next to its cafeteria. I mean, if you've ever been to Montgomery Central High School, they've got these little circular pods. That's their cafeteria, and it's literally overlooking a lake. It's a very beautiful design. As much of their playbook has been tonight, not maybe beautiful to the modern eye, but it's very effective, and
the scoreboard, it looks good.
Exactly, effectiveness is the game.
The first time tonight we're going to get to see Montgomery Central get the ball and nearly get the fumble on the play. Logan Sykes
on the recovery.
Nearly disaster for the Indians.
Yeah, and if you're the up man, so to speak, on that one, you got to be sure if you're going to grab the ball that you have got it, because you cannot touch that ball when it's that close to the kickoff team, because bad things will happen. To me, it almost looked like he should have just let it go past him, and if it goes out of bounds, you get the ball at the 35-yard line, and if it doesn't, well, they're just going to down it anyway.
At the 35-yard line is where the ball is spotted here for Montgomery Central. Great field position all night tonight.
Really, for both teams, great field position all night.
Hand it off to Skelton. Spins out of a tackle, diving forward near that first down marker. Is going to be short by about 1 or 2 yards.
And Skelton has been the guy so far tonight for Montgomery Central. That's probably, 8 or 9 carries for close to 100 yards maybe already. Just doing an excellent job tonight so far, as we have an injured Blue Devil on the field.
Speaking of Skelton, 953 yards coming in, and he has broken that 1,000-yard mark for sure.
Yeah, he's for sure over that mark here in the first half. Now, I imagine if you're the coaches, you've probably got Dress Sanders over there, and you're like, hey, Coach, let me get mine too.
Well, let me get my 200 on the game here.
Yeah, you know those football players. Football players are sometimes can be real good guys, but they can also be pretty selfish when it comes to their records. So, you know.
Sanders only a junior here for this Indian team, so got a couple really good seniors. Skelton being the main guy leading the charge, as it is senior night. It will be their last. Actually, it may not be their last time playing on home field, as they're currently second in the region, Ashton. And if they win out the rest of the game, they're guaranteed at least one home game.
Yeah, and it always feels good to play a playoff game at home, a big-time game at home. I know personally, my high school, we played several home games in the playoffs over the years, and it's always just a different atmosphere. It's the same. It's very very hyped up, but it's also different at the same time. It's just very odd.
I can't talk to you right now. 21-7 your score. 3:56 remaining, as we've got a couple fans trying to butt in on the broadcast. We just shoot.
I think they were interested to know where the game's being broadcast on, which, if you're interested and for some reason you're not already listening to us, which I don't know how if you got any friends that are texting you like, hey, we're going to catch the Montgomery Central White House game, tell them it's on the Clarksville Montgomery County Schools website. I believe that's cmcss.net. .net. Yep. I was going to say .org, but I would have been wrong.
Is that Montgomery player, or actually White House player, walking off the field?
Yeah, and that left leg is a little gimpy.
Yep.
You don't like to see that.
Hope the best for him, not only for this game but the rest of the season. If there is one more game after this for each team at least. Montgomery Central all but guaranteed a playoff spot. Hand it off to Sanders. He's going to get pushed forward to that first down marker. Enough for a first down.
At this point in the game, you've let Skelton get his. Why not let Drez get some as well? Just power football right up the middle of the field.
What a load that is to tackle. I don't know if I'd be up front just praying for Sanders to come up the middle my way.
Yeah, really. I mean, 75 on White House's defensive line. That's Joey Cartwright. I mean, he's 6'2", 253, so he's a pretty big guy himself, but you don't ever like to see 220 running full speed at you.
A generous 220 gear on our roster for Montgomery Central. Hand it off to Skelton. Stopped right at the middle by a great defensive play, Kevon Dickerson.
One of the few times tonight they've corralled him in the backfield. Just really good, just shooting the gap right there if you're White House. Just an excellent job on defense.
There's a flag on the play. Montgomery did look to jump a little early, and it didn't matter.
Illegal shift
against the Indians.
Yeah, illegal shift for them, so be declined either way. Bring up second down.
Yeah.
11.
I imagine if you're Montgomery Central, well, actually the clock's not running. Well, no, it is running. I was going to say that if you're Montgomery Central, you'd like to keep this clock running, trying to go into half of this lead as much as possible, but clock operator kind of throwing me for a loop there.
Skelton across the 50-yard line, brought down at the 49-yard line as they go into White House territory.
And that's what you're going to see all night, folks. I mean, you've seen it through the first half, and you're going to see it in the second half. Just handoff left, handoff right, handoff up the middle. We might see a pass.
Haven't seen one so far from Montgomery Central. As you said at the very beginning of the broadcast, if it ain't broke, don't fix it here. 21-7 your score. Toss it to Skelton once again. A lot of success with this play. And he gets brought down successfully.
Skelton on the carry.
We got more play after the whistle. We got a good flop there from the Blue Devil.
So there might be a soccer team somewhere around here that's trying to sign him. That's I believe the player there, number 4 from Montgomery Central, was going to pick up his mouthpiece, and 24 doing his best acting job. 4th and short here for Montgomery Central. I personally would punt it with about a minute and a half left in the first quarter, minute and 40 seconds rather. But I can't blame the coach for staying aggressive here. It's only 2 yards and your offense has been hot.
See what they do here. A minute and a half remaining in this first half. And a timeout called here for Montgomery Central. So as you mentioned, just trying to get anyone to jump off sides. If they did, bonus. If not, let's just punt it away and keep this lead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're going to take free yards when you can get it, but there's no sense in trying to get those yards if you don't really need to. Kind of got to like the decision in a minute and a half, the way White House's offense has looked in the first half. You don't imagine them getting points here, but things can happen. Even if they do get points, you're still up a touchdown and you're getting the ball to start the second half.
Now, as it does look like White House is going to get another chance here at the end of this first half to get some more points on the board. And what looked pretty doom and gloom looked like they got a real shot to cut this to a one-possession game going into the half.
Yeah, and that trick play kind of gave them a little bit of life there towards the end. Let them get on the board. Still not the best situation, but you're better than you were, and it's all about staying positive and moving forward to the next possession.
Still in an offensive formation here is Montgomery Central. 4th and short. It's a fumble. They're going to pick it up, and they're just going to dive on it here. White House gets it. It really wouldn't matter either way, but White House gets a crucial turnover here on 4th down.
That is a huge, huge mistake if you're Montgomery Central. You lose 10 yards on the fumble itself, as you can see here on this replay. He just never had it.
Yeah, threw it at his knees.
I mean, that's a catchable pass at your knees, or catchable toss rather, but the receiver just took his eye off the ball, and it results in White House ball at about the 45-yard line.
I'm shocked you don't give that to Skelton, as he's had a lot of success with that same play. Said they give it to a different tailback, and they don't reap the benefits, that's for sure.
He may be on an oxygen tank somewhere.
A minute 24 remaining in this first half. Another screen pass here for White House. Tackled out of bounds. It's going to be just short of that first down mark, and we got another flag.
I think it's going to be a late hit out of bounds, Patton. The Montgomery Central player that drove Shearer out of bounds threw him to the ground a little late, so I believe it's going to be another 15 tacked on at the end of that run.
If you're at Montgomery Central here, you know the referees are looking for it, and you just go ahead and give it to them either way. Enough for a first down.
Yeah, and if you're their head coach, you've got to be losing your mind right now. You cannot have your players playing undisciplined like that, especially when this game, it's still a game. You're up 2 touchdowns, but White House could very easily go get 7 right here, especially now that they've been given a free 15 yards at the end of that catch and run.
See what the referee's saying here.
Personal foul.
It's going to be personal foul against Montgomery Central, so that's going to move them forward 15 at the 21-yard line. A real shot here with a minute 13 to cut this to a one-possession game.
White House has all the momentum going into this final minute of the quarter, Patton. Would not be surprised at all to see them get 7 more and make this a one-possession game going into the half.
We've got a coach here. Looks like this is a head coach, and they're just going to tell your team to cut it out here. Because that right there does look like the head coach for White House.
I mean, that's
Jeff Porter.
I can't really say that I blame him. I mean, he's ultimately, yes, you want to win the game. Actually, maybe asking for like tape or something like that from Montgomery Central staff, but
I just overhyped that for no reason, but you don't see that very often.
Well, I mean,
a coach running over to the other side.
Well, when you see the coach coming out like that, there's a couple things that run through your mind. And
saw that with Florida and Derek Mason this week.
You had that on the first chance of first season, rather, of last chance of U2.
Yep,
their coach, the hothead that he is, running out and getting into it with an official of all people. So
we hope to not see that tonight for the folks at home. We've got the coaching staff for both teams in the booth here tonight, so we'll hope to get out of here live if that happens.
Yeah, you don't, not so much for us, but our equipment.
We are definitely not worth as much as this equipment here in the booth. A minute 13 remaining. Things getting chippy here in Cunningham, Tennessee.
Looks like they're kind of talking something over right now, the officials, maybe asking, hey, what was that? Or I'm not really sure. But as you said, about a minute left in this one. If you're White House, you're looking good if you get 7 here. You're like, all right, guys, if you get 7 here, that completely changes what you tell your team at halftime. You're like, look, you're down a score. This is a one-possession game. Just go out and get a stop on defense, and then you can tie it up easy. If you're Montgomery Central here, you're like, look, guys, you got to get a stop. Even if you don't get a stop, that's fine, because you can come out in the first half and make it another 2-possession game.
From what I can look like, it does look like the first chain, or the chains down there are having some trouble. Trying to tape it up, as you only do here in high school.
Equipment. Little equipment failure there for the chain gang. What we originally thought was, that's the chain guy, actually, that came across the field. What we originally thought may have been a very interesting, to say the least, situation. It's turned out to be pretty benign.
I was thinking coaches fighting. No, it's just tape up the first down markers.
Tape the chains.
1st and 10. A lot of miscommunication there from White House. After all that, they got miscommunication from a wide receiver.
Yeah, and I think if you're Nixon there, you're just kind of getting that one away. Ben Dawson was coming free off the edge, and anytime your quarterback's got a free rusher coming at him, you don't really want to. If you're a quarterback, you really don't want to take a hit. Period. So you kind of just throw that one away and live to fight another down, so to speak.
A minute 7 remaining. 2 timeouts for each team. So it's not out of the realm for Montgomery Central to get another shot, but If you're White House, you want to take as much time off this clock as possible. Another free rusher here. Nixon gets away. He fires it. He's got his man. Enough for a first down. Looking for the end zone. He's got it.
Excellent job there.
White House.
Excellent job there from Nixon, extending the play. Going to his left. Typically, they tell you as a quarterback, don't throw across your body.
Worked out just fine there.
Don't listen to him, Nixon. Do your thing, buddy. Free rusher once again, evades him, flush to his left, doesn't matter. Finds the guy, middle of the field, across his body. Easy score for White House.
That is so impressive from a quarterback. Usually when you see that, they just put their head down and start running, kept his eyes downfield, and he's got his team right back in it. An extra point to get it to a one-possession game.
As you said, Patton, especially in the high school level, even the collegiate, and heck, even the NFL level.
It's a two-point conversion. And they've got it.
Two-point conversion.
Holy moly.
Is good.
That is a huge swing there for White House.
21 to 15 is your score with under a minute. We've got a huge momentum swing here in Montgomery Central. And we're going to stay here as halftime is nearly upon us. What else has this game got to offer?
Oh, man, this one is, so far as advertised, Montgomery Central doing their thing, running that ball. White House, it looked ugly early, but they are fighting back very well to this point, making it a 6-point game before the half. I mean, this is the best game we've had on our network this season. They've all been blowouts.
Definitely,
with lack of a better term.
I have been plagued with blowout after blowout, and we've got a game here under a one-possession game after the two-point conversion, and that really doesn't do a whole lot for you, but now you can take the lead if you get another touchdown. Surely they don't get it before the half ends, as we've got 56 seconds remaining.
You would think so, but if I'm White House and I saw how Montgomery Central responded on that last squib / onside kick, I don't know that I don't try that again.
See if they can. Surely, I mean, not an onside kick, please. You got too much action here. As the kicker for White House is standing over the ball, Jacob Harper. It's a squib sort of kick. See if it rolls out of bounds. Nope, Logan Sykes is going to take it and just tackled near the 40-yard line.
Sykes doing a good job that time of corralling that one. On the last one, he kind of let it hit his hands and, almost let it bobble away to the other team. But if you're Montgomery Central here, come out, take a few knees, go into the half with the lead.
Well, for the coaching staff here for Montgomery Central, you were coming in, head coach Jeffrey Tomlinson. He was going to go in and praise his guys at the half, but he's got to flip his script here. One-possession game here for White House.
Yeah,
they've fallen apart.
I think you're still praising your guys. You're still saying, hey, we did a lot of great stuff in that first half. We played our game. Skelton, you're doing great. Offensive line, you're playing great. We just got to clean up some little things on defense and special teams, and we're winning this.
Hand it off to Skelton.
Devante Skelton on the carry. Stop for White House on number 44, Colby Taylor.
I said take a couple knees, but handing it to Skelton is not a bad idea either. Just with that, you kind of worry about what happens if you have a bad exchange with the quarterback, then you're giving the ball right back. But I'm guessing Montgomery Central's coach, Tomlinson, isn't really concerned about that considering the time on the clock.
22 seconds remaining as they toss it out to the wide receiver, and she gets tackled at the 40-yard line.
Excellent job from the White House defense there, coming with the toss on that side, making a good tackle for a little gain.
That's going to do it here for this first half, as the Indians are going to go into the half. What looked like a 21-0 lead is now turned into a 21-15 game. Stick with us as we're going to do a halftime recap here on APSU-TV.
The Department of Communication at APSU is unique in providing students hands-on experience from the first day they enter the classroom. The award-winning sports broadcasting program covers almost all sporting events for the Govs and Lady Govs. So how is Austin Peay sports broadcasting program different than the others? All of the broadcasts are ran by the students.
I discovered the sports broadcasting concentration, and 4.5 years later, it's been an awesome experience. Since game one, they put me on a camera. I got that experience immediately.
With this program, we learn so many positions. We learn every position, really, whether that's play-by-play or in the control room with replay, technical director, even being a producer.
I learned different positions, not just camera work. I learned inside the production studio, outside the production studio. I know how to be in front of a camera and also behind the cameras.
Some would say that the most important person of a broadcast is the camera operator. They are the ones who are giving the viewers what they want to see.
Having good camera work from a broadcast is basically what you see is what the audience see.
Replay is so important for the game because it gives the fans another perspective. It gives them more engaged into the broadcast. You know, when a great play happens, the fans, they want to see it again. They want to see it in slow motion. They want to see it from different angles.
It benefited me totally. It molded me to a better person just overall.
The experience can actually be topped anywhere else. The things that I've been able to do at Austin Peay have been awesome.
We welcome you back here to the campus of Montgomery Central. 21-15 is your score. Got about 18 minutes left to go in this halftime, and Ashton, you can't say much more. Is the tale of two halves. Such a dominant performance from Montgomery Central early. They just kind of took their foot off the pedal.
More like tale of two halves of the same half. Really, the first quarter was dominated by Montgomery Central in their run game with Skelton. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and passing that 1,000-yard mark on the season. But White House doing an excellent job of not getting discouraged, coming back, sticking with their game plan, and getting 2 scores and a 2-point conversion before the half and making this a winnable game.
We want to take a look at the halftime or the standings with only 1 game remaining left to go in Tennessee high school football. And at the very top of the list, it's going to be Springfield. And this is a team who came in, well, actually, Montgomery Central went to Springfield, and they lost to a very good Springfield team, but just behind them, it's Montgomery Central and Creekwood.
Yeah, Springfield, what can you say? They're the class of the region. Montgomery Central's only loss on the season is to Springfield. We saw them last year completely dominate. Really, it was a completely different Montgomery Central team last year, but they got absolutely dominated by that Spring Hill team. Creekwood also looking pretty solid in the region. A little bit a worse record overall, but a better region record. They have a tiebreaker on Montgomery Central, I'm sure. Montgomery Central right there in the 3 slot. They are looking really good tonight. Looked good all season. This that power triple option run game that we know. Portland and Greenbrier. Portland also looking good. A lot of teams right there at the top that all look really good, and then you kind of get down here. Greenbrier not having the best of seasons. White House, as we said, really good overall, not so good in the district. And then, of course, you got White House Heritage, who anytime you're not winning games, it's not a good season.
The pit of misery for White House Heritage, and I was reading one of the game recaps for White House, and they were mentioning last year was the first year that they had this new kind of seeding for districts, and White House gets put in this Region 5 4A division, and they've really struggled kind of getting wins in this region. But kind of when they go back to the region they had 2 or 3 years before, they're having success. So this is something that a lot of teams are struggling with. My high school back in Nashville was part of one of the teams that had bumped down. It actually helped them a lot. But this is a very wide range, and it's something they kind of had to do, Ashton. But you got teams like White House struggling with the change.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in that boat with White House because my alma mater, Adamsville High School in West Tennessee, they've been thrown into a district with, for anybody that's big into high school football in Tennessee will know these names. They're in the district with Union City, TCA, Dresden, Peabody, which is right there. That's already a tough district. That's 4 teams, 3 teams that win the state championship pretty regularly, especially the Union City Golden Tornadoes. So that's a really tough district for them. But yeah, anytime you get the regions tossed around like that, it can hurt, it can help, it can hurt. It just kind of depends on who you get thrown with. As we can see with White House, it's kind of hindered their season because the only losses they've had have been district. but they're down here with a team that's winless. And it's just kind of throwing a whole wrench into their season. But as we said, even if they win out, if they come back and win this game and win next week, they still might not even make playoffs.
On a lighter note for Montgomery Central and Springfield, these are two teams that have got a chance to go pretty far in this playoff, not only just in sub-state, but got a chance to go to state, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Montgomery Central's offense, the way it's running and with the personnel they have, I think that they can play with anybody in their region, or in their class, so to speak. Anytime you run the triple option and run it well, it's hard to stop. I mean, look at schools like Georgia Tech that ran it for 30 years. The military academies, they run it for a reason, and it's because it works. It works when you're well coached, and it works because of the scheming of it. And if you're Springfield, if I remember correctly, last year they were very pro-style. They played a lot of single back and had a very balanced offense. If they're still like that last year and they've still got that same running back, then they'll go deep, because I don't remember his name particularly, but I know
all over this year.
He had like 250 rushing yards by himself, so he was, an absolute stud last year for the Springfield Yellow Jackets, I believe is their name.
The two things you can kind of point to Montgomery Central and Springfield has been their leadership. Montgomery Central, as we look at them tonight, they've got a couple seniors who are really leading this team, even though they've kind of slipped up here in the second half. But Devante Skelton, you'd have to think this guy's going to have to lead his team to win this game and finish what they started in the first quarter.
Yeah, Skelton, Drez, what was his last name again? Drez Sanders. Can't believe I forgot his name. He hasn't touched the ball really tonight. That's probably why I forgot his name. But Skelton and Drez Sanders, they've got to be the guys that, kind of get everybody together and say, hey, look, this is still a game. We still got to go out there and we got to finish this thing. And they have got to make sure that they get their guys ready to come out in the second half to play.
21-15 is your score. We got about 12 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this halftime show, and we're going to take it to a break. Once again, 21-15 your score. Stick with us here on APSU-TV.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Jackson, Tennessee.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Memphis, Tennessee. Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Little Rock, Arkansas. St. Louis, Missouri.
Gaffney, South Carolina.
Seattle, Washington.
Jeremy, Haiti.
I'm from Três Pontas, Brazil.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hawaii.
Phoenix, Arizona. Braselton, Georgia.
From Modesto, California. I want to be a neonatal nurse.
An athletic trainer and accountant.
Playing the NFL.
An interior designer.
Physical therapist.
Law enforcement officer.
Ultrasound technician. Social worker.
Physician.
Politician.
Psychologist. CPA.
Field social worker.
Nurse practitioner.
Physical therapist.
Restaurant owner.
A politician. Start my own business. Veterinary.
Elementary school teacher.
The NBA player.
Cardiovascular surgeon.
Anesthesiologist.
A businesswoman in Nashville.
Social worker in Miami, Florida.
Politician in Washington, D.C.
Colorado.
Orlando, Florida.
Houston, Texas.
In Chattanooga.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Seattle, Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee. San Diego, California.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New York City, New York.
San Diego, California.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Nashville.
Los Angeles, California.
New York, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Orlando, Florida.
Los Angeles, California.
Baltimore, Maryland. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Carolina Beach, Carolina. Philadelphia.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Jackson, Tennessee.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Memphis, Tennessee. Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Little Rock, Arkansas. St. Louis, Missouri.
Gaffney, South Carolina.
Seattle, Washington.
Jeremy, Haiti.
I'm from Três Pontas, Brazil.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hawaii.
Phoenix, Arizona. Braselton, Georgia.
From Modesto, California. I want to be a neonatal nurse.
An athletic trainer and accountant.
Playing the NFL.
An interior designer.
Physical therapist.
Law enforcement officer.
Ultrasound technician. Social worker.
Physician.
Politician.
Psychologist. CPA.
Field social worker.
Nurse practitioner.
Physical therapist.
Restaurant owner.
A politician. Start my own business. Veterinary.
Elementary school teacher.
The NBA player.
Cardiovascular surgeon.
Anesthesiologist.
A businesswoman in Nashville.
Social worker in Miami, Florida.
Politician in Washington, D.C.
Colorado.
Orlando, Florida.
Houston, Texas.
In Chattanooga.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Seattle, Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee. San Diego, California.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New York City, New York.
San Diego, California.
Atlanta, Georgia. Nashville.
Los Angeles, California.
New York, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Orlando, Florida.
Los Angeles, California.
Baltimore, Maryland. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Carolina Beach, Carolina.
Philadelphia.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, that can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Skelton had 3 touchdowns. Excellent job on defense or on offense, and your defense played not bad. I mean, your defense was pitching a shutout until about 4 or 5 minutes left in the half.
And you wouldn't say that they put their foot off the gas or anything. It was just White House was starting to make some plays, and you got to give it to the other team sometimes. And for White House, you really had to. They started to find some success, kind of getting it out to the outside and letting their playmakers do something.
Yeah, specifically the one play that it comes to mind for me when I think of what got them going was that trick play on that one drive, that their second to last drive of the first half. They threw a pass out to the wide receiver, thought it was going to be a screen, and then he throws a pass over the middle to the tight end, and he almost scores, and 2 plays later they did score. So that really got them some momentum going into the half. They managed to put 2 scores together back-to-back after Montgomery Central fumbled on the next drive. So we do have a ball game here, Patton.
Montgomery Central will be the first to stop this momentum here against White House as they declined the ball at the coin toss. And they'll get to start with the ball here in the second half.
And I don't imagine much changes from a scheme perspective if you're Montgomery Central coming into the half. Football, like I said in the first half, is a game of momentum, but it's also a game of adjustments. And you've always got to adjust to what the other side is trying to do to you on offense and defense. So if you're Montgomery Central, the adjustment here is to just, there's not really an adjustment to be made. Your offense was good. Just go out there and play like you have been playing. If you're White House, the adjustment to be made, at least from an offensive perspective, is do what worked for you in the end of the half. Get the ball out wide. Get some more of your fast guys out and open the field and let them run. On a defense perspective, you've got to remain focused and key in on your man to prevent getting fooled by the misdirection of the triple option.
Talking about some adjustments, maybe we got Montgomery Central, maybe they try to throw the ball a little bit. No passes thrown in this game. They haven't thrown a lot all season, but you'd have to say if they keep this lead, they're going to keep it on the ground. But if you fall behind to this White House team with all the momentum in the world, might have to air it out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree and say that's wishful thinking probably on that one, because the one common misconception that is about the triple option offense is that you don't get big plays. I mean, we saw it in the first half. Skelton broke off a 50-yard run. Big plays can happen on the ground. So it's not all the time what you do through the air. It's wherever you can get the big play from. It doesn't necessarily have to be through the air.
For Montgomery Central, 2 of their running backs with touchdowns, Devante Skelton, and also their big guy up front, Drez Sanders.
Usual suspects.
Yep. Skelton, that puts 17 touchdowns on the season, and for Sanders, that moves it up to 11 touchdowns on the season. So that's an incredible number just between 2 guys, only their quarterback with 2 themselves. So the main guys up front, and we talked about maybe the leadership of them. Hey, guys, we're all right. We're up 5 right now. We got plenty of time. We got the ball. Let's try to put this game ahead, and you have to think it's going to be as you said, the usual suspects for Montgomery Central.
Put it to bed early. That's what I would tell my guys in the start of the second half. Look, go out and get 7 on the first drive, get a stop, get 7 more, and crush their will to continue playing this game. Because, these aren't professional athletes out here. They're high school, they're 16, 17-year-old kids, and their will get crushed if you start pounding them into the ground. So if you're Montgomery Central's coach, that's what I'm telling my guys. Look, go out here, get 2 or 3 scores quick, and break their will to even continue playing this game.
Now, if White House does get an early 3 and out here, I mean, you can only imagine that sideline and how pumped up they're going to be to maybe take the lead in this game of what looked so far out of reach. But here we are, the kickoff getting ready to start this second half. Montgomery Central going to start with the ball here.
And I wouldn't put it past, knowing how White House's coaches like to roll the dice thus far, I would not be surprised to see a surprise onside kick here to start the second half.
A.J. Parker and Devante Skelton, the 2 players back to receive. They haven't got a chance tonight as they squibbed it each and every time. They do it again. The ball was picked up and dove backwards at the 43-yard line.
You got to think that's the White House showing respect for Montgomery Central's return game. I mean, especially when you've got 2 guys back there like Parker that are dynamic, like Parker and Skelton. You can't really let them you don't want to get them any extra touches, is what I'm trying to say. You get guys like that extra touches, and they're going to hurt you extra bad.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line here for Montgomery Central. Ben Dawson, the quarterback here for the Indians. Dawson trying to get his guys up front right. They hand it off to Sanders. He found a huge hole, and he's going up the middle. Across the 40-yard line, he finally gets brought down at the 20-yard line for the Indians.
That's the one thing, if you're White House, you did not want to start the second half off with. A big gain up the middle from Drez Sanders. There's just nobody home for White House. The misdirection from Skelton comes, and it's just through the hole, and he's gone. I don't exactly know where the linebackers went, but I don't know that they would have stopped him anyway. That is a large man coming through the hole.
Coming out of the hole, it looked like he was just looking to get some contact, but there was none to be found as he spotted at the 20-yard line.
And that's how those big guys are, man. When they come through the hole, they seek contact. They want to punish you.
Sanders, actually, they keep it out and toss it out to Skelton. He dives forward near that 15-yard line. Looks to got it, so gain of 5 on the play.
You know, we've been calling Montgomery Central a triple option offense, but we really haven't seen that much triple option tonight. It's been more of dive or pitch, not really any option, so to speak. They've been doing a good job, though, calling it when they've getting good calls when they've needed it, and they're getting good offense.
First drive of the second half for the Indians, and they're already in the red zone. 10:45 remaining in this third quarter. Fake the handoff to Sanders. That wide receiver is dropped in the backfield. A good play by Cameron Casanova.
Excellent job of staying home there from Cameron Casanova and the White House defense. Just really good job not being fooled by the fake handoff or anything else on the play and just recognizing where the ball went.
Correction, that was Kevin Tate on the play. Got in the backfield immediately. And loss of 5. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10 at the 20-yard line.
And as we said earlier in the first half, we don't really know what the range of the kickers on either sideline is, so you may be looking at 4-down territory here.
Handed off to Sanders. He's met immediately at the line. Led at the charge by number 74. That's Austin Bryant.
And if that was an option, that was just the wrong read from Ben Dawson there, the quarterback. As you can see here on the replay, just was nobody, just absolutely no one blocked the guy, really. If that's the option, the quarterback's got to pull that and pitch it or take it himself, because the dive there is just not the right read.
We're going to get our first look on how far the kicker, Michael Lobdell, can kick here for Montgomery Central. It's going to be about a 37-yard kick for him. A huge play here to get it to 2 possessions. The kick is up. No good. A huge play by the special teams unit at White House, and the missed field goal gives a chance to take the lead.
And their sideline is fired up, Patton. Everyone is just ecstatic right now. The kick was long enough. It was just wide left and almost was blocked. So if you're White House, that's a win on that possession. You've got to turn over without Montgomery Central getting any points. Now it's time for you to come out and go get 7 and take the lead for the first time in this game.
Considering the huge gain that White House got from Sanders, they got to be disappointed with not only forcing a field goal, but missing the field goal as well.
Yeah, and anytime you come up with a missed field goal on a drive where you have a big play, it hurts a little bit, but it's all about forgetting the bad stuff and remembering the good. You got to remember what got you to that position in the first place, that really big run from Dress, and just setting up a field goal attempt that unfortunately was not converted.
We'll see what White House can do with this momentum. Andrew Nixon, the quarterback here, looking for a man. He fires it into nearly intercepted. Not the best decision there.
He had all day to throw that one, Patton. I'm imagining that was a designed rollout to his right side and trying to read one half of the field other than the other, but really not a lot of rush coming from Montgomery Central on that one, just content to sit back and dare him to throw at him, so to speak, and Montgomery Central came up with a deflection.
That's where Nixon has got to learn to fight another day. Threw it into traffic. Nearly intercepted it, but lives to see another day. 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Not a bad play call if you're White House. I really like the play call actually on 1st down, trying to get a rhythm throw in for your guy, but unfortunately you don't convert.
Handed off to the tailback, and he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. Tackled by number 16, Cale Davis.
Just a good job from Montgomery Central playing strong up front. The hole was there. Just the D tackle did an excellent job of shedding his block as the runner came through the hole to make the tackle.
Only a gain of 1 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9 for sure. Punting situation if they don't get it here. But what a stop this could be for the Montgomery Central defense if they can force a 4th down.
Yeah, this is a huge momentum swing here if you're Montgomery Central and you can get a stop on this play.
Play action, looking for something rolling out to his left. Nixon's going to try to take it himself. Still on his feet, he's got a lot of...
Goodness.
Dives forward to that 1st down marker, and he's going to get it.
Unbelievable.
A great play from the quarterback there, rolling out to his left and finally getting the 1st down.
And Patton, on this one, as soon as he rolled out to his left, I was thinking, oh my goodness, there's no one over on that side. What is he doing? Don't listen to me, young fella. just go get your yards, break a couple of tackles, get that 1st down.
Montgomery has got to be furious with the tackling on that play. Multiple opportunities to force the fourth down.
And it's almost like quarterbacks to me break tackles a lot of the times because people are always looking for the big hit on them and not focused on the basics.
Met at the line of scrimmage by two Montgomery Central players. Initially there was Dylan Williams.
Well, you come back with, if you're the defense, you just had that negative play. You come back with a very positive play on the first down, stuffing that run.
Not a lot of success on the run game for White House. It's been all through the air to get them back into it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we expected when looking at the stats and the season stats for this game, Patton. We didn't really expect White House to do a ton of damage on the ground, but they've picked up ground yards when they needed them. They've been very balanced on offense, and when you're balanced, you keep the defense honest.
White House 2nd and 10 as whistles are blown.
Looks like it's going to be offsides on Montgomery Central. Oh,
that looked like the initial signal, but they're going to go ahead and give it to White House, back them up 5 yards.
Well, that's what I get for looking at the line judge and not the referee.
2nd and 15. 7:03 remaining in this third quarter. Action-packed game. What looked like was going to be a blowout. We've got a game here in Montgomery Central. Nixon looking for a receiver. Throws it across the middle. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Montgomery Central. He's tackled out of bounds. Intercepted by J.D. Delaney. That was that thing you were talking about earlier. Do not throw across the middle.
You don't throw across your body if you're the quarterback. If you do, bad things can happen, and this is what happens. As you'll see on this replay coming up, he rolls out to his right. It was a high snap, and another free rusher from the left side has been the same guy all night. And just a poor decision. Like you said earlier, sometimes you've got to live to fight another down. It might look like it's wide open, but you never know what might be lurking out there in the middle of the field. If you're the quarterback, you've got to either just try and run for that 1 yard or throw it away, throw it at your guy's feet or something. Just you can't throw across your body and make a bad decision like that.
Whatever momentum White House had is at the hands of Montgomery Central now.
Sideline warning against the Indians.
It's going to be a sideline warning against Montgomery Central. 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. A really good chance to regain some momentum here for the Indians. Handed off to Sanders. Bowling to the 9 to 8 yard line. Gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, and Montgomery Central, that's all you need to do. A lot of times you see teams when they get a big turnover like that, they want to take a shot. That's the first thing they do. They go to a play action, they want to take a shot deep because it's a huge momentum swing and you can catch the defense sleeping. Not necessarily with a triple option. Your shot is the dive up the middle because you're going to, hit the linebackers in the knees with your big fullback whenever you come through the hole.
2nd and 7 at the 9-yard line. They toss it out to Skelton. Evades the defenders, dropped at the, looks like the, give him the 6-yard line.
Other than the 150-yard gain and the one for the first down in the first quarter, White House has done a fairly good job of kind of containing Skelton on the outside whenever he does get those tosses, but it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5 rather, 3rd and goal, and you've got to get off the field here. You've got to force another field goal attempt and hopefully hold them to 3 points.
3rd and 3 at the 5-yard line for Montgomery Central. 5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Handed off to Skelton again. I don't think he's going to get it.
Skelton on the carry.
It's going to be close, that's for sure.
Stop for the Blue Devils by number 28, Kanan Dickerson.
The line of game looked to be the 3 or 4 yard line, and they've got him spotted right at the 5-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down. They'll bring out the field goal unit once again.
Yeah, I imagine here you just got to take those points and make it to where one score doesn't necessarily put you in a tie situation or losing. So you got to trust your kicker from 20 yards. Surely your kicker can hit from 20 yards.
Once again, White House really bails out their offense, forcing the field goal on 4th and 3. The kick is up, and it is good. So it looked like disaster for White House. Only turns out to be a field goal. 24-15 is your score. 4.5 minutes remaining. We've got a good game here at Montgomery Central, here on APSU-TV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
24-15 your score, 4.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. And as I mentioned before we went to break, White House defense really bailing out the offense after that crucial turnover by the quarterback Andrew Nixon.
Yeah, that
still in this game.
That last drive for White House on defense, more or less damage control, really. Anything, especially when you turn the ball over that close to your own end zone, anything you give up that's not a touchdown is a win, realistically, for your defense. So doing a good job of holding them to a field goal. This is a 9-point game now, still very manageable, but you're going to have to get some offense going on this drive.
The kick is away. Very good kick as it rolls out of the end zone. Looked to be very close to going out of bounds, but it's going to be a touchback, and that's where White House will start 1st and 10 in this crucial third quarter possession.
Very fortunate that one stayed in bounds. It looked like it was veering towards the corner, the front corner, that is, of the end zone, and it luckily just took a good bounce for Montgomery Central and just stayed in. Still, you're getting the ball on the 20. You've still got 4.5 minutes to go, and you're down 9 points. If you're White House, you absolutely have to get some form of offense going on this drive.
Kevon Dickerson in at the tailback position for White House. You got whistles.
Flags at the snap.
False start. It's going to go against White House. Back them up 5 yards. And when you're down in a game like this against an opponent like Montgomery Central, can't be hurting yourself.
Yeah, and from the motion of that play, it looked like they were going to have a big gain off of that one if they would have just not kind of shot themselves in the foot. But you're still you're not in the best spot, but you could be in worse spots. So if you're White House, just stay calm, try and get those yards back, but don't get overly aggressive. Don't start taking too many shots.
1st and 15 at their 15. They throw it out, and it's going to be tackled at the 20-yard line. Looks to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
You know, coming into this one, Pat, and I was interested to see how the 3-5 defense of Montgomery Central worked against the kind of, it's pro style, but they do a lot of outside speed type stuff for the White House team. And for those at home that don't know exactly what a 3-5 is, you have 3 defensive linemen and you have 5 linebackers. So it's a very run-stopping heavy scheme, and especially if you have fast guys on the outside, it can be a problem.
Handed off to Will Blackburn. Not much going. This defense for Montgomery Central has had a good handle on the run game all night long for them. That's something they wanted to establish early, White House, but they just haven't found it.
That's one of those things that we highlighted. You know, we've highlighted all through the game, Pat, and White House is not the best on the ground this year. Not bad, just not the best. They had much more success through the air, and kind of just proving us right up until this point. Just not really a whole lot of success on the ground.
3rd and 8 at the 22-yard line. Andrew Nixon, the quarterback, and we've got another flag. False start.
That's a tough one if you're White House, Pat. Kind of looks like they're discussing who the penalty is on. It was the referee who threw the flag, so I don't imagine there should be much discussion.
He's like, you saw that, right? I'm like, no, I didn't see it.
If you're the referee, you have the ultimate final say on what the call is, so I don't imagine you're discussing this with anybody. You just kind of drop the flag and call it.
Penalty is waved off.
Well done from the referee. Not too much of a power grab. Just puts that flag right back in his pocket.
Yeah, save that one for another day maybe. Thought he was going to call that on Nixon at first, but good decision.
Good play once again. Nixon rolling out to his left, fires across the middle, nearly intercepted into the hands of Logan Sykes.
It's got to be a better pass if you're Andrew Nixon. Your wide receiver is streaking across the middle of the field, more or less wide open. The only thing you cannot do is overthrow him, and that's exactly what you did. To be fair to him, that's a tough throw to make, running away from your dominant hand as a quarterback, trying to turn your body and make that throw to the middle of the field. But he also had a lane where he could have taken off and ran.
Yep.
So, just
really struggling for confidence right now.
Right, and to me, that's not the kind of pass you call if your guy just threw a big interception. You want to get more rhythm passes going to get his confidence back.
Hometown fans making some noise here on 4th and 8. The high snap, the kick is away, and it's a good one. Gets a friendly bounce out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Montgomery Central. So a good punt from the quarterback, Andrew Nixon. Montgomery Central, another chance to build this lead. Another opportunity missed for White House.
And you said it, missed opportunity. You had 2 penalties on the first 2 plays of your drive, backed you up an additional 10 yards. So instead of 1st and 10 from the 20, you got 1st and 20 from the 10. And just never found a rhythm on that drive. The one play that you had was good. The pass was overthrown and really should have been intercepted. It hit the safety in the face mask. So you got away with one there. If you're White House, you just got to live and hope that your defense can get a stop.
They've done it 2 times in a row as White House, forcing 1 field goal and 1 missed field goal. We'll see what they can do here at the Indians 40. They toss it out to the receiver. The quick man's got a lot of room to work with. Tackled out at the 43-yard line. Jacob Key on the carry.
As you can see on this replay here, excellent read from quarterback Ben Dawson. Reads the guy, he stays with me. All right, I'm just going to pitch it out to my guy and let him get 30 yards.
Montgomery Central starting to get that rhythm back that they had early in the first half. And it speaks trouble for White House.
Yeah, Montgomery Central getting this triple option attack rolling is a bad news for anybody they might run up on.
Fake it to Sanders, hand it off to Skelton. Taking a man for a ride. Tackled out at the 33-yard line.
Haven't said Skelton's name much so far in this third quarter with about 2 minutes to go. Although he's done his damage for the night, but he hasn't really done much so far in this third quarter. I think that might be the first time he's touched the ball in the third quarter.
It's been basically Sanders, and we just saw Jacob Key. Those 2 have been the main people so far, but Skelton looked to put his fingerprints on the second half. Hand it off to Sanders, and he's still on his feet, making a man miss. Trying to take the ball out of White House, but unsuccessful as he's tackled at the 10-yard line.
And a big guy like that, especially at this level, you're not going to strip the ball out of his hands with one guy. You got to have somebody that's going to slow him down. You got to have another guy come and try and punch that ball out. But big run for Montgomery Central, looking to put the game away here late in the third quarter.
1st and goal for the Indians, just inside.
1st and goal at the 10-yard line. 1:15 remaining in this third quarter. A touchdown would be huge for these Indian fans. And hand it off to Sanders. He's met at the line of scrimmage. That's happened a few times tonight for White House.
Yeah, I mean, White House hasn't just been bowled over this entire game. They've gotten several stops along the defensive line. Now, they've been few and far in between, but they have not really been gashed up the middle all night.
Coming into tonight's game, White House giving up 180 on the ground. It's been about that, you'd have to say, but
yeah,
it hasn't been apparent that they're just getting gashed every play after play.
No, they're not just giving up 20 yards every time someone on the team rushes the ball, no, but it's timely what Montgomery Central is getting.
Under 30 seconds left to go in this third quarter. A pitch out, and it's going to be wrapped up as the helmet comes off. A number 52, Ethan Rainey. He's going to have to come out for a play.
And Rainey doing an excellent job on that one, just kind of staying keyed in, staying on that pitch and noticing the action coming, just kind of coming with it.
Loss of 3 on the carry.
Actually,
3rd and goal.
Lost a couple on the play. The ball spotted at the 11-yard line.
I think the referee also called Montgomery Central for a block in the back, it looked like, so that's going to back them up even further.
back them up even further here as we are nearing the end of this third quarter.
Illegal block in the back.
That's another example in this second half of Montgomery Central just kind of shooting themselves in the foot when they get in a good position. You know, you had the missed field goal, and then you had just not converting when you're inside the opponent's 10. And now, you know, you're inside their 15-yard line and you take a dumb penalty, really. I've never understood the whole blocking in the back penalty. To me, it's one of the ones in football that shouldn't really ever be called. If as you're a player, you really never should block somebody in the back.
And they're going to let this one run to 0, and that's going to be it of this third quarter. Montgomery Central starting to build that lead back up. 24-15 is your score. And we're going to send it to a break as you stick with us as we've got an exciting fourth quarter coming your way here on APSU-TV.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
All of our high school football games are streamed live on the Clarksville-Montgomery County School System's website at cmcss.net and are produced by the APSU Department of Communication. Watch a replay of our high school football games on APSU-TV Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. APSU-TV is available on Spectrum Channel 192, AT&T U-verse Channel 99, and CDE Lightband Channel 9. Now this is the final game of our series. It's been a real joy to do some of these games, even though the games haven't been that close, but we've got a good one here tonight, as it looks like it's going to come right down to the wire, as White House is not giving up, and they don't plan on giving up just yet, as it's 2nd and 21.
Save the best for last, Patton. I mean, this one's been a great game.
Nixon rolls out, looking for his man. It's actually Ben Miller, rather. The first pass completed out to the 20-yard line. Ben Dawson, the quarterback. First time we've said his name tonight.
Well, now he's 10 for 26 on the season. He got to double-digit completions. So, I guess that's, if nothing else, that's one thing to hang your season on right there. But really and truly, all jokes aside, that was an excellent play. Dress Sanders leaking out of the backfield and doing a good job to secure the catch, even though it was at his knees. Typically, you see bigger backs like him kind of struggle with those, but he corralled that ball excellently.
Ben Dawson, the senior, listed as a running back / linebacker on our roster. So an athlete, and they're in the shotgun, and they're going to go back to pass once again. Looking for a man, and he is sacked. White House by number 52 for them, Ethan Rainey.
Remember that thing we said about don't fix what isn't broken?
Hey, here we are.
Yeah, that's 2 plays in a row that you call a pass, and I don't really see why you would call a pass on either play, because you were looking at 2nd and 15 maybe, 2nd and like 14, something like that. And then on your first play, you get 2 or 3 yards on a nice pass. All right, cool. The second one, you just take a sack and you just lose a whole bunch of yards. I would trust Drez or, Shelton, either one, to pick that yardage up on 2 carries.
The 35-yard kick is away. And it is good. A huge field goal made by the kicker. 27-15 is your score with 10 and a half minutes remaining.
If you're White House, you tell your guys, hey, look, 2 touchdowns wins this.
Stick with us as we got the rest of the fourth quarter here on APSU-TV. TNHighSchoolFootball.com is the source for all things high school football in Tennessee, from Donovan Stewart's victory formation column to podcast interviews with area coaches. TNHighSchoolFootball.com has you covered. Nominate and vote for weekly players of the week at TNHighSchoolFootball.com. 27-15 your score. Montgomery Central getting ready to kick away to White House.
I think Devante Skelton's going to win a couple of votes on that Player of the Week award for his performance tonight.
The returner bowls his way. What a hit. Knocking forward an Indian. Letting them know about it.
That's an absolute pop there from the ball carrier. Excellent job of just getting your shoulder low and just bowling the guy over, like you said.
Got a few scoreboard references from the Montgomery Central players, as you would expect, up 12.
Well, you're only up 12. That's what I would say. I mean, if you were up 35, maybe a little different. But this is still a 2-possession game if you're White House. You can go get 7 here. You get a stop, which is what you've done on 2 straight possessions. You've gotten a stop more or less, and this is your game.
Yep.
I mean, all it takes is one play to break this thing wide open, and we could have an exciting finish here, Patton.
The senior Andrew Nixon looking to get his team back into it. They hand it off to the tailback, Will Blackburn. Gain of 3 on the play.
Nothing much pretty with that one. Just off tackle to the right. Just sound football.
It's going to be a gain of 2, 2nd and 10.
On the play brings up 2nd and 8.
As the play clock is starting to become a little bit of a factor here. 9:50 remaining.
Yeah, you would think that with White House, the clock is giving you a little bit of urgency here, but they may be telling their guys, look, we can go get 2 scores and not give them any time to retaliate.
Hand it off once again. Bursting forward is the tailback, Preston Sharber. He's going to be close to that first down marker. They're going to give it to him.
Excellent carry there from Preston Sharber. He has really been the best running back for White House for the game. I mean, he has just been excellent as it looks like he's shaken up on the play.
And unfortunately, he does come up injured at the bottom of the pile of that one.
It did appear on the hit that maybe he got hit from 2 directions at the same time, so maybe just the wind knocked out of you. You know, those things can be, they feel a lot scarier than they actually are. And that might be the case here hopefully the case here for sure.
Haven't had too many injuries tonight with 9.5 minutes remaining. But for White House, you just got to take it one play at a time. There's not a 12-point play that they can score on this drive, so they just got to really a touchdown or nothing. A field goal does nothing for you with 9.5 minutes remaining, because you're not going to get the ball back too many more times with the running attack from Montgomery Central.
Right, yeah. All a field goal would do on this drive is making a 9-point game, which doesn't help you anyway. So I don't imagine going for any kicks on this drive. It's going to be all 4-down territory no matter where you're at on the field, and maybe play with a little sense of urgency. You know, you've got 9.5 minutes left in this ball game, and you have to have a touchdown, a stop, and another touchdown minimum. That can be a tall task, especially against a team like Montgomery Central that likes to chew a bunch of clock, likes to keep the ball on the ground, and that can play some pretty sound defense for the majority of the game.
As we do see they're running back down, they're going to have to give it to some other guys, and as we mentioned, Preston Sharber has been their main guy, but Will Frazier, 380 yards on the season, 5 rushing touchdowns. It's next man up. Unfortunately, that's football at the end of the day, and can't feel sorry for yourselves with injuries or that, because the opponent's definitely not.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Don't feel sorry for yourself, because your opponent sure isn't going to feel sorry for yourself. They may even feel great because your guy got hurt. Ideally, no, but it could be the case. If you're White House, Frazier hasn't looked bad for you tonight. He's looked pretty sound. I mean, him and Sharber both have looked really good on the ground carrying the ball. You never want to see one of your guys, especially one as talented as Sharber, and you know, Sharber being a senior as well, this being one of his last games potentially in the White House uniform. But it's like you said, you just got to play with that next play mentality, and it's next guy up. You know, you just got to play to play and keep going along.
And a class act here from Montgomery Central is they're going to take a knee and pray for this player. He's limping off and not putting any pressure on that right leg. But you like to see that, as we see down here, players praying for each other. At the end of the game, this is a game. It means nothing more, nothing less than a game itself. But 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line after Sharber comes up injured. Nixon back to pass. Fires to his man, and it's incomplete.
Nixon's pass.
It's too far out in front.
That ball kind of stuck to the receiver's hand there for a second, Pat, and I thought he was going to come down with that one. And if he would have, that would have been an incredible catch, one-handed diving towards his own sideline. But if you're the quarterback there, you've kind of got to make a better throw than that. Give your guy at least a chance if you're Andrew Nixon to make a play on that ball.
Rolling out to his right kind of gave him too much air under it. And 2nd and 10 after the pass falls incomplete. 9:13 remaining in this contest. They fake it to Casanova, and Nixon keeps it. Pretty hard tackle across the 47-yard line. A gain of three or four on the play.
And we've seen White House have success with the sweep a few times tonight, so that kind of leaves the door open for, it's almost an inverted read option. Instead of, the reads are just opposite from each other, so instead of the quarterback reading the end and giving if the end crashes him, if the end, I mean, it's the same concept, it's just swapped roles. So your sweep is the one going wide and your quarterback's the one going up the middle. It's called a veer, but it's the same concept as a read option. But really good scheme, really good play call considering that the sweeps had success tonight.
3rd and 7 at the 47-yard line. 4-down territory if you're asking me up in the booth. Nixon back to pass, looking deep, and he is dropped. Sacked in the backfield by 2 or 3. Just big time Indians up front.
And if you're White House, that's the one play you can't make on that play right there. Play action, about a 7 or 8 step drop, and you're asking a running back to block a defensive tackle, and it's never going to be a good matchup for you. It's just really good defensive line play from Montgomery Central, but your quarterback's got to recognize the pressure and throw that ball away to give you a chance on at least 4th and
what looked
13.
like for sure 4-down territory. This is going to be an awfully tough 4-down conversion. Let's see what Nixon does here. Just going to be a pooch kick. Out of bounds. Once again, if you're going to punt it 20 yards, I'm not sure what that does for you.
It doesn't really do anything for you. I mean, it's the same as throwing a 20-yard interception at that point. But that's not necessarily on the play call itself. That's more or less on the execution. You just got to have a better kick there if you're Nixon. Really, that was set up, though, by the sack on the previous play. So credit the Montgomery Central defense for coming up big when it needed to in clutch time.
Ball spotted at the 45-yard line, and Montgomery Central, I mean, we've seen him do it before. This could be a 7.5-minute drive and run the clock out.
Easily 7.5 minutes. Would not surprise me if they ended this game on this drive right here just from the sheer, clock-chewing power of this offense.
They hand it off to Skelton. Near that 1st down marker is going to be just short at the 46-yard line.
Well, you're not going to chew a lot of clock like that. But I imagine they'd take a touchdown just as much as they would some clock shooting. So
all 3 timeouts left here for White House, and you're going to have to start thinking of using them here pretty soon, especially if Montgomery Central has no urge to play this one quick.
I don't think you do it on this drive unless they start getting down to about 5 minutes. I think you wait until the next drive to start using your timeouts. But if this drive starts going into the 3-4 minutes, you're definitely in trouble if you're White House.
They hand it off to Sanders. Once again, a huge hole for him to go through, and he's tackled at the 37-yard line, enough for a 1st down.
And that fullback dive out of that look right there is just such a tough play to stop. It's such a quick hitting play. It's almost like an inside zone handoff out of shotgun. It's just such a quick hitting play for the defense that they don't have time to react to where he's going. And when you've got a guy as big as him, it's tough to bring him down anyway. So you're already late to the play, and he's already got momentum, and you're going to rip off 8 yards of carry.
That's a combination for success for a big guy like Sanders. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. And just using all the clock here is this ever so veteran Ben Dawson at quarterback. Hand it off to Sanders once again. Just getting 4 or 5 yards every time, more action after the whistle. Something we've seen quite a bit tonight. Hasn't been too extreme, you'd have to say, Ashton, but It's been there.
Yeah, I would call it more or less guys finishing blocks here and there, maybe a little excessively, but as you said, nothing outright dirty yet so far in this game. Nothing just too outrageous, but definitely some extracurricular going on after a couple of these plays.
There was a White House player ejected early in the first half, which, looking back, it really could have meant for a long, chippy game, but it hasn't been that. 5:15 remaining. They toss it out to Skelton once again, and he's got a lot of room to work with, cutting inside and out. Diving to the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown, Indians. And that does it.
Yeah, Patton, I'd say this one's put to bed on that score right there. That's going to make it 34-15 after the extra point. White House just really just not playing only the third time tonight they haven't played the pitch well, and the second time in as many plays they've scored off of it. Just honestly, just
out of the hold of Ellis.
Skelton is just really taking over this game. That's what his 4th touchdown on the night.
Yep. We saw the coaching staff look over at that replay, and they were not pleased with that. Just missed tackling, and that's a heartbreaker. As the extra point is good. 34-15 is your score with 5 minutes remaining. Montgomery Central is looking to get out of here with a victory and continue this ever so impressive run. Stick with us, and we got the rest of the 5 minutes of the 4th quarter here on APSU-TV.
I'm Ferdinand. You look at me and think big. You think scary, but I'm a little misunderstood. Sorry, I almost killed you. Involving misunderstood. Not a fighter.
I don't understand that at all.
Kids with learning and attention issues like dyslexia and ADHD are misunderstood too. Take the time to understand.
Best plan ever!
With the right support, everyone can reach their full potential because you can't judge a bull by his cover. Learn more at understood.org.
34-15 is your score. We only got 5 minutes remaining in this game, and with that touchdown, you mentioned that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, this one's put to bed pretty much, Patton. Anytime you've doubled someone's score with about 5 minutes left in the game, that's pretty much putting it out of reach. Barring some miracle here, this one's basically over, but credit White House. They've come out here, and we thought it was over in the first half, and they did a great job of getting themselves back into the game.
Collected at the 13-yard line. And the returner tackled out near that 40-yard line. And looking at the team stats here for Montgomery Central, they're giving up 15 points per game, and they're right on that mark right now. And the defense, it's not world beaters necessarily, but it's good enough to get you into the playoffs and make some noise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the defense that snuffs everything out and only allows 80 yards a game and 3 points, but it's about situational defense. It's about good team defense and bend but don't break. If you're going to be any type of defense, you want to be one that's not going to give up points when you literally cannot give up points. And so far tonight, that's what Montgomery Central has done. They did not give up any points when they needed it most, and it's going to bring them to a win.
Firing deep here, and it's incomplete by a pretty good margin.
Nixon's pass intended for Holcomb.
Nixon, it was intended for number 88, Skylar Holcomb.
Second down.
Not really much to say on that one. That's just a simple go route. Just my guy's faster than your guy. We're going to try and beat you with speed, and the quarterback just overthrew his man.
Targeting, oddly enough, a pretty good wide receiver on the other end, A.J. Parker. Haven't seen much from him tonight, but he's coming out of here with a victory, as it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to claim it all the same. Like
out across the line of scrimmage, Will Frazier
on the carry for the Blue
tackled at the 44-yard line
Stop for Zach
for White House.
Yeah, and you get the feeling that when Sharber went off the field on the last drive, it kind of killed the momentum that White House had going for them. Frazier's not exactly the same. He's not bad, but it's never good when you see one of your senior leaders go down like that.
Hand it off to Frazier once again. He's going to get the first down, tackled out along midfield. Enough for a first down. Ball spotted. Give it the 49-yard line.
It's first and 10 for the Blue Devils.
Good run there from Frazier, just kind of finding his hole off the left side, being patient and bouncing it when he had the edge to get. Could be a case of too little, too late, though.
3:55 remaining in this contest. Nixon looking for something. He's going to go on with his legs. Tackled, say the 43, 44-yard line. There's been a lot of that, just scrambling and looking for something. Got in trouble once, but in his credit, he found a touchdown doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, really and truly, it's tough. It can be tough on a defense with a quarterback that can run. I mean, you've got, especially if you've got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 receivers on the play that are all going out on routes, that's a lot of guys to cover already. And then when you've got a quarterback who can run, added into the mix, that's just a wrinkle that a lot of times the defense can't account for.
2nd and 3 after the rush by Nixon. The ball just bounces off the turf, incomplete.
Intended for Newfield. Ball incomplete.
3:08 remaining as the clock is stopped after that incompletion.
Really not much to say about the one, just a curl route from the receiver on the far side of the field from us. Just kind of bounced off his knee pads on that one, wasn't able to secure that ball.
Andrew Nixon, the senior, looking to finish out this drive on a bright spot. You haven't said it's been on him. He's just trying to make plays out there and just ultimately made a mistake that, hate to say it, cost his team, I'd say.
No, one mistake really didn't cost them anything but a field goal, but really what hurt them the most was just the consistent not getting any offense going on drives.
Oh my goodness, he's got the first down.
Because as you can see, he's made plays like that with his legs all night. I mean, even the one mistake he's made on the bad interception going across his body, when you can make plays like that with your legs, I mean, you can really just, I mean, not much you can say about it other than wow.
You can't question his effort, that's for sure. With the score being the way it is and still putting his body on the line, diving for the first down. 1st and 10 at the 43.
You know, if you're a football coach for White House, you like the way your kids are finishing out this game. You know, just win or lose, you don't quit on me. If I'm the coach, you just win or lose, you just don't quit. I don't care if you're losing by 60. You play hard until the game is over.
Ball batted down by number 4, Zachary Gibbons, the wide receiver / linebacker.
Wide receiver / linebacker.
What it says on my roster.
That is an interesting combination of positions. You don't see many people playing wide receiver and linebacker. Yeah, exactly. That's oof. Typically, you associate linebackers with running backs.
Nixon still on his feet, and he's going to get the first down again. Once again, these wide receivers and corners are going after it.
They are. You are right. They're going at it. They're not taking anything off on these plays with this one pretty much in the record books.
1st and 10 at the 26-yard line for White House, as the clock is stopped at 2:25.
Not sure what the clock is stopped for here. Looks like an official timeout, maybe for a substitution.
2:15 remaining in this contest. White House on the march here. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10.
And at this point in the game, if you're White House, you're going to get a score to feel good about yourself on this play. Interesting package here.
Nixon once again on his feet. He's brought down. Gain of 2 or 3 on the play.
Interesting package, not exactly interesting execution and results. It's definitely the first time in a long time, though, I've seen a team line up with in shotgun without any receivers.
2nd and 7.
The hand warmer for Nixon has come off, and he's just slung it on the field as we've only got a minute and a half remaining.
Yeah.
We can talk about White House. I mean, it hasn't been a disappointing performance, but they really needed to win this one tonight.
No, yeah, and if you're White House, you don't really feel great about the way. I mean, obviously you lost by 18 points as of now, and you never feel good when you lose by almost 20. But, I mean, there's some things to take away from this that you did well. I mean, you more or less contained the Montgomery Central rushing game, you know, for the majority of the game. Now, other than a couple of breakaways from Skelton and a couple of runs up the middle, you did an excellent job in the second half of covering up that run game. Only gave up 1 score. Only gave it 1 touchdown, that is. But, I mean, your offense has just got to be better. I mean, it's just been poor execution from their offense for the majority of the night.
Their defense could only do so much against the explosive running attack for Montgomery Central's. We do have a hold, and it's going to back them up 10. 2nd and 17 with 1:08 remaining.
After the mark-off, it'll be 2nd and 16.
Takes all 3 phases of the game, Patton.
Yep. They've had a lot of penalties, just a lot of after the whistle penalties, a lot of holdings, a lot of false starts, and
just a lot of things that you can clean up in practice and should be cleaned up by this point in the season. But, you know, you can never account for what a guy may do when he's, hyped up on adrenaline. So no fault on them there.
Nixon fakes the screen, and it is just plain old dropped.
That's just
intended
kind of
for Casanova.
Just kind of a microcosm of how the night's gone for White House in the passing game. Just right there, big play to be made, and just couldn't make it.
1:01 remaining.
It brings up
after that incompletion. There's been quite a few drops as well for Nixon. He has not had full weapons going his way. It's been mostly on his feet. That's got him success.
Yeah, now I kind of feel bad talking about his 45% completion percentage at the beginning of the game. I'm starting to think maybe it's not all him. You know, maybe he's, there's some guys that should be coming up with the ball a lot more than they should and than they are. And, sometimes it's not all on the quarterback. And that's where box score scouting will get you in trouble.
The play action pass to Nixon slips away from another defender as he gets run out of bounds into the kicking net.
Nixon on the carry.
So that's a little dolphin dive into the Odell Beckham style.
He's feuding with the kicking net too. And really and truly, it's been a gutsy performance, I would say, from Andrew Nixon here tonight. Things haven't really gone his way, but he's making plays with his feet. And he's doing everything he can to try and keep his team in the game, and they're just going to come up short here.
4th and 10, might as well go for it.
Why not? 50 seconds on the clock, you're down 18.
Cover the spread if there ever was a spread on high school sports.
I would love to meet the bookie who set lines on high school sports. That is an interesting individual right there.
Personal foul against the Indians.
I'll take that back. It's going to be first down after a personal foul.
I did think that the hit out of bounds looked a little late when he went into the kicking net, but I was going to wait on the call itself to, for the validation, that is, of being correct for once.
They hand it off to Will Frazier. He has run out of bounds with 42 seconds left.
Just a good, strong run there from Will Frazier. I thought initially that when he tried to bounce that thing outside, I was like, oh, no, what are you doing? Your hole's in the middle. And he just kind of said, no, put the guy in the dirt, and then put another guy in the dirt, and picked up 4 or 5 yards on the carry.
2nd and 4, gain of 6. As we have a late substitution coming in. Not sure what necessarily.
It could be just a young guy getting in some time, or a senior that doesn't play a lot getting a few snaps in on his senior night.
Nixon here looking for something. Finding a couple Indians.
Just nowhere to run. Just absolutely nowhere to run. He tried to go wide with it. That was stopped up. When he tried to cut it back, that was stopped. I
love this decision here. I do believe a timeout was just called from White House. They want to stop the clock with 34 seconds left.
Well, there's always a chance. I mean, stranger things have happened. I'm not expecting a Cunningham miracle here, but the game of football does have strange things happen all the time, and 18 points is there's almost more points to be scored than there is time on the clock, Patton. So I don't imagine this one's going to end very much different than the way the score looks right now.
3rd and 5. The ball spotted at the 7-yard line here for White House. Moving over to Montgomery Central, I guess we can talk about on how there was a really good chance that they could let White House back into this game going into the second half, but they stood strong and really built the lead into the second half.
Yeah, like I said, their defense came up huge when they needed it the most. I mean, just your offense wasn't producing in that third quarter a lot, and your defense came on the field and shut White House down when they needed it. White House had all the momentum coming out in the second half. They just scored. They got a big 2-point conversion. They had all the momentum in the world, and Montgomery Central shut them down on offense.
The offense trots back out onto the field. Nixon keeps it. A big collision, and he's going to get the touchdown.
Touchdown, Blue Devils.
Another
touchdown, Blue Devils.
Another gutty run there from Andrew Nixon. Just taking a shot as he flew into the end zone, but making this one a little bit more pleasurable to look at, I guess, if you're White House. And as I said, just off tackle, designed run, and took a shot as he flew into the end zone, but it's 6 either way, whether you take a hit or not.
Yep.
So
21-34 your score with the. It's not going to be an extra point. They're going to go for 2.
Yeah, extra point makes it 12. Go for 2 makes it 11. Not really much difference in the two. Maybe looks a little bit better.
It's the White House special, and they got it.
The Philly, or the White House.
Complete to Nixon.
Something right there that Tom Brady could not do. Catch a touchdown pass, and 23-34 is your score. And
the one stain on Tom Brady's illustrious career is not being able to catch a football. God bless him, the quarterback. But White House taking a page from Doug Peterson's playbook with the Philadelphia Eagles, and
I got to say, coming in, I was not thinking we'd be making a Philly reference, but here we are.
I didn't think we'd be making a Dilly I heard you sneak that one in earlier.
That is true.
In the second half, but credit to White House. They were down 18. It's easy to just say, just go out there, run out the clock, and let's get out of this one and get back to the drawing board. But they came out and said, no, we're going to come out, we're going to run our offense, and we're going to try and get as many points as possible, and we're going to attempt to win this game. And they're not going to, but credit to them for keeping up the fight.
As Montgomery Central likely to try and recover this onside kick for just the fun of it, I would say. To kick away for White House is going to be number 14, Jacob Harper. Not sure he's kicked an extra point tonight. It's been
I think he's kicked one, maybe. Yeah, he kicked the first one. That was it. It's been all 2s from there on out.
So we've got a good citizen of the crowd here. Watch for the offside to the Montgomery Central players. See if they can recover this and take a knee or 2 and get out of here with a victory. That'd push their record up to 8-1, 4-1 in the district, and that's dreamland for them. Coming into the season, especially after last season, we saw them last year. This is a totally different team.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the turnaround Austin Peay football experience last year, Patton. I mean, really and truly. I mean, you look at it, the year before last season, we were 0-30 in our last 30.
Yep.
And we had a brand new head coach who was 32 years old. And he went 0-11 his first year, and there was a lot of people that were like, well, this will be just another guy who's gone in 2 years. And really, we came out and shocked everybody last year going 8-4, and looking like it's going to be another 8-4 year this year. Somewhat of surprisingly, Austin Peay football is going to be 8-4, and it's a disappointment.
Yeah, that's
around campus.
Yeah, that's something else right there. And coming into the season, of course, making the playoffs was the goal, but ultimately, you're playing great teams here, and they just couldn't capitalize. Georgia started off, I mean, you were never going to beat Georgia necessarily, but in the OVC play, they just didn't get the bounces they were getting last year.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And just Montgomery Central, in the same way, has just turned their program around, and they've done it in the same way with new coaching, new philosophy, and all credit to the Montgomery Central Indians for coming out and playing a great game of football and playing their style of play.
As the clock is going to go down to 0, your final score is going to be 34-23. And after we see a couple chippy plays, we always get the walk across midfield and shake hands. And for White House, it wasn't the outcome they wanted, but the effort was there from just about everyone on the team. And this is likely the end of their playoff hopes.
Yeah, as you said, probably not making playoffs at this point in the season, but you can feel good about the way your team came in and competed here tonight. You know, there was you were 5-3 coming in. Montgomery Central was 7-1. So from a record standpoint, you're not looking good, and really just played their brand of football and did themselves proud.
For Montgomery Central, this will move them up to 8-1, 4-1 in the district. And as we mentioned, our key for them was just to continue this momentum going into the playoffs, and this was a great step tonight. They go out and play the worst team in the region, White House Heritage, next week, which they are 0-6 in the region. A great win tonight for them. Once again, 34-23 is your final score. I'm your analyst, Patton Cook, alongside my partner, Ashton Rich. Now, this is the final game of the season. We enjoyed doing it. We finally had a good game tonight. This is, once again, one final time. Thank you from APSU-TV.